Well, you can go
Folks, I'm
back
taking
here.
just one sign-in sheet. There's still a sign-in sheet. Just keep signing up all night.
Can I see a pen so I can go?
Yes, there are 3.
You have to speak louder.
So we can go to the back.
Turn up the game!
Couple free seats.
Sir, we can't record. I'm so sorry. It won't work.
Enjoy the attention.
Your diaphragm.
It's good, Steve.
Today's hearing is a public comment hearing regarding
That's not acceptable. It's not loud enough.
related to electric and gas service.
Not here.
With proposed rate changes.
We can't hear you.
Can anybody hear him?
Speak up!
Intentional.
And that's not.
Break up the juice. We can't hear you. You need to speak louder.
Or why don't you actually?
Please, louder and clearer. I want to hear what you're saying.
We can't hear you. We can't not be able to hear you. Can you please turn up the volume?
Okay, what I'm going to try to do is to figure this out, okay? Because
Thank
I
you.
don't know if we can go further, and we'll try to get
Testify.
from here.
Or you could move up here and actually talk to us. Sorry if that's inconvenient.
Instead of sitting back there, yeah. Why do you stand up in front of the
We
crowd?
want to be on the screen too, Mr. Ford. So we just want to do both things. I'm going to try and turn this up. I'm going to apologize
Why
in
does your
advance.
microphone work and his doesn't?
I'm shouting.
Well, there you go.
I'm going to try one more thing, and just bear with me. It might get your feedback, and then I'll stop it immediately, but let me give it a shot.
An easy solution is he just needs to raise his voice just like you do.
Real issue.
They raise their lips, let them raise their voices.
Try Is that working better? All right, how about this place? Can everybody hear me better this way? Yes. Better now? I'm Chairman Ron Hirachowski, and here with me is my fellow Commissioner Abigail Anthony. Today's hearing is a public comment hearing regarding several dockets relating to electric and gas service for Rhode Island Energy, with proposed rate changes to go into effect on April 1st. There is a notice that was published that shows the impact of the electric rate changes on typical residential customer monthly electric bill for a customer on last resort service, and the impact of the rate change on a typical residential heating customer's annual bills. A copy of the notice is at the table where you entered. The notice indicates a net decrease to the monthly residential electric bill for a customer using 500 kilowatt hours of approximately $28 per month, and an annual increase for a typical residential heating customer using 845 therms, approximately $78 per year. It's important to note the distinction. The impact on electric bills is measured by month. The gas impact is given by year. We will be accepting public comments both here in person tonight and remotely by a Zoom link or telephone call. The Zoom link and phone number are published in the hearing notice that is on our website and on the Secretary of State's website. I'm going to read only a part of the notice, including the paragraph which provides the information about Zoom participation and a telephone number to call for those who prefer to use the phone. Pursuant to the provisions of Rhode Island general laws, the Public Utilities Commission is holding a public comment hearing. Today is Monday, March 10th. We're in our hearing room on Jefferson Boulevard in Warwick. The purpose is to hear public comments on Narragansett Electric Company doing business Rhode Island as Rhode Island Energy, proposed rate changes to take effect on April 1st. This is being streamed live on a streaming link and being recorded. People interested in providing public comment at the meeting may participate in a Zoom meeting through the internet or by calling in. To participate, click the link that's listed on the notice, and you will be given instructions to enter the meeting by internet. If you choose to participate by telephone, you may call the following number, which I will indicate twice: 929-205-6099. That's 929-205-6099, and enter meeting number 8111-0142 719. That's 8111-0142-719. That's followed by the pound sign when prompted. If you're not interested in providing public comment here tonight, you can also submit comments in writing. Now, tonight we'll proceed as follows. I'll take appearances of council, then the company will make a brief presentation regarding the rate request. After the company's presentation, we will hear comments from members of the public who are present here in the room tonight. And there is a sign-up sheet that was at the door as you came in. And then after that, we will then go and take comments on the Zoom link and by telephone. Before we begin, I want to provide additional information for assistance. The public comments are intended to be general comments about the requests. But if you happen to have a specific problem with your gas or electric bill that needs to be addressed, there are company representatives you can talk to. If you are not satisfied with the company's response regarding a particular bill, then you can call the consumer section of the Division of Public Utilities and Carriers during business hours, and the number is 401-780-9700. If you have questions about the Commission's proceedings and the rates that we are reviewing, there will be a member of our staff at the closing public hearing, which is Todd Bianco. He is the Chief Economic and Policy Analyst at the Commission, and he can stay and answer your questions within the limits of his role on the staff. I am referring you to Mr. Bianco because neither my fellow Commissioner nor I can answer questions of anyone about the company's proposals. We serve in capacity similar to judges, so you're not able to engage in discussions or answer questions about the rate proposals. You're here only to hear your comments. I might provide instruction on the process of making comments this evening if someone needs guidance. It's also possible that I might ask you to clarify something you said, but only to be sure we are understanding the information you are sharing. However, that is a real occurrence. So let me begin by getting appearances of council. First, the company.
Microphone.
Good evening, Gregory Schultz from the Division of Public Utilities and Carriers.
Nicholas Fox from the Attorney General's Office.
Jennifer Wood, the Rhode Island Center for Justice, on behalf of the George Wiley Center.
Thank you. So, Ms. O'Brien, you want to have your Mr. Schuster here? Why don't you introduce him? We won't put him under oath because it's not a formal hearing, but we just you provide the opportunity to provide a brief presentation.
Microphone.
Can you hear me okay? Okay. Good evening. Today we have Director of External Affairs and Government Affairs, Mr. Brian Schuster, and he's prepared some opening remarks.
Very good, Mr. Schuster. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chairman Garrett Housegate, Commissioner Anthony. My name is Brian Schuster. I lead External Affairs for Rhode Island Energy, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of you tonight. Before I get into the detail of our filings as presented of the subject matter here, I'd like to first directly speak to our customers. Here in this room or watching from home, those who are eager for relief, I can promise you after today's session, you'll hear about the relief that is forthcoming. We have experienced one of the coldest winters in the last several years, and we understand. We understand that we're in a high bill. And we know you feel it even more when temperatures drop and supply prices continue to be high as they have this winter. We feel it too. First, relief is on the way. And second, every customer's bill has many components, and we're going to talk about those components tonight. So let's start with the relief. The net impact of the upcoming summer electric rates is almost 17% lower than today's rates. In a moment, you'll get more customer-specific information. I know it'll be a lot of detail, but just a reminder, it is a net decrease. As we'll talk about, the largest component of the adjustments discussed this evening pertains to supply prices, which are completely driven by the market. We procure the best mix and price of supply resources we can, consistent with the obligations we have under the Act on Climate, and we pass those supply resources on to our customers dollar for dollar. There is no markup. There is no profit. It's Let me take a quick moment to explain what goes into a typical average customer's residential electricity bill. The bill is currently presented to customers as broken into two parts, the supply charges and the delivery charges.
Which is equal.
Supply is typically the single largest component of the bill.
It's equal.
They're equal, half and half. Half of $830, actually.
But to clarify, supply represents the cost of electricity to be purchased from our customers. Think of it as the commodity.
Where are you purchasing?
We recently obtained approval and filing for the PUC to make changes to allow us to procure energy in a way that allows for more flexibility, to take even advantage of even lower prices when available, and we'll continue to work and explore further ways to reduce the impacts of supply charges, including working with the General Assembly this year to hopefully find a way to secure other supply resources that will be cheaper for our customers.
Stop asking for a raise.
So that is the supply side of the bill.
Break down the bill.
Next shift to the delivery portion of the bill, you all are very interested in. To simplify, delivery charges can be broken down into two general parts. One relating to the core business of the utility, the other being what we generally refer to as public policy costs. On the core business component, Rhode Island Energy manages the customer charge, a distribution energy charge, and a transmission charge, which accounts for approximately 34% of the total bill.
That's all the same
approximately
thing.
Just over 1/3 of the total bill. The customer charge is a fixed fee for meter reading, billing, and customer service costs. The distribution energy and transmission charges may cost to deliver energy from the sources of electricity that we procure from to deliver to your homes and businesses. Again, these components that reside within the delivery section of the bill make up approximately 34% of the total bill. I know there's a lot of talk about distribution component of the bill.
We have the
Which
paperwork.
is the part regulated by this commission, is approximately 2% of the average customer's residential bill. That profit allows us to affordably finance a strong, safe, and reliable energy system, supporting Rhode Island employees and families and fueling the investments that improve infrastructure and drive innovation. The remaining components of the delivery section of the bill can be grouped in what I referred to earlier as the public policy costs. These are state-mandated charges that support low-income customers, investments in
We are
renewables,
low-income
energy
customers.
efficiency programs, and of course, state taxes. These costs and taxes, which Rhode Island Energy has no control over, currently make up about 16% of the total average.
Rhode Island has to lower the taxes.
35% is what you.
That summarizes the general breakdown of the main components of the bill.
That
All of
summarizes
these
our
factors are always
gaslighting.
taken into consideration when proposing rates to the commission, which in this case would be effective April 1st, 2025. I'm now going to go into the specific components of the filings that are at subject tonight, and this does get a bit complicated, but I'll summarize the net impact again upon the conclusion of going through each filing. The first filing is the company's proposed last resort service summer rates. These rates apply to customers who rely on Rhode Island Energy to secure their electricity supply and only applies to the supply portion of their bill. If approved, last resort service customers will see a decrease in their supply rates. Note that not all customers are impacted by this rate decreases. Customers who participate in municipal irrigation or have their own third-party supplier are not impacted by the rate decrease in this filing. Due to market conditions in New England that are outside Rhode Island Energy's control, supply rates are higher in the winter and lower in the summer. This pattern will likely continue for the foreseeable future, and all suppliers are subject to those market conditions. When looking at the summer last resort service rate, customers should compare it against other summer rates. In this case, the base last resort service rate this summer is lower than it was last summer, dropping from 8.908 cents per kilowatt hour to 8.706 cents per kilowatt hour.
So much money.
Thank you so much.
Those are the reconciliation, administration, and renewable energy standard charges. The combination of all these additional LRS components plus the base rate means that the LRS price for this summer is 10.068 cents per kilowatt hour compared to 10.377 cents per kilowatt hour. That amounts to monthly residential bill using 500 kilowatt hours to about $1.55 less than last summer. On February 14th, the company submitted its proposal for its annual retail rate filing. This is our second filing in discussion tonight. The proposed rate changes in this filing primarily arise out of various reconciliation in connection with last resort service supply, transmission, transition, long-term contracting, and net metering costs. The reconciliations in this filing that impact the supply portion of the bill are the last resort service annual reconciliation and the last resort service administration costs, and result in a decrease for the residential LRS customer who uses 500 kilowatt hours a month to $1.92 or 1.1% on their monthly bill. The remaining reconciliations for transmission, transition, net metering, and long-term contracting impact the distribution charges on the customer's bill, and the average customer will see an increase of $1.99 or 1.2% on their monthly bill. Taking those proposed together, a residential LRS customer who uses 500 kilowatt hours a month will see an overall increase of 0.07 cents in their monthly bill, which amounts to a 0.04% increase for the reconciliation portion of the rate. Again, a couple more to go through, and then I'll get to the summary of the overall net impact. The third filing of the company's proposed renewable energy standard charge was filed with the Commission on February 25th, 2025. The renewable energy standard charge is a legal requirement for Rhode Island Energy to obtain currently 32% of its energy supply from a combination of new and existing renewable sources. The effect of the rate change on the total monthly bill of a typical residential LRS customer will be an increase of $1.36 or 0.08%, and it is included in the supply portion of the bill. The fourth filing I'll describe is the company's proposed electric infrastructure, safety, and reliability plan for fiscal year 2026, which was filed with the Commission on December 23rd, 2024. The electric ISR, as we call it, is designed to enhance the safety and reliability of the electric distribution system over short and long term. The ISR mechanism enables Rhode Island Energy to invest in our electric distribution system between rate cases to respond to the changing needs of the electric distribution system and ensure safe and reliable service to customers. The plan consists of capital investments and operation and maintenance expenses. Rhode Island Energy is proposing to invest a total of $192.6 million in capital, which consists of $159.9 million of traditional capital and $88 million for advanced metering functionality. The plan also includes $14.7 million for operation and maintenance expenses, and if approved, an average LRS customer will see an increase of $1.01 in their monthly bill, which accounts for 0.6%. Related to this filing are electric rate changes that will take effect on April 1st, 2025, which includes Rhode Island Energy's proposed renewable energy growth, or RE growth factors. The factors are designed to fund the RE growth program and allow for recovery of administrative expenses associated with the company's implementation of the RE growth program. The RE growth program is a state-mandated program that facilitates and promotes the installation of grid-connected generation of renewable energy and diversifies the energy generation sources within the load zone of the electric distribution company. In turn, the program helps reduce carbon emissions and stimulate economic growth. The Commission approved this factor on February 20th of this year, which resulted in an increase of customer bills for an LRS customer of $1.80, or about 1.1% increase. This factor is included in the distribution charges of my customer's bill. All right, those are the details. I know that was a lot of information, but let me summarize them again. The bottom line impact to a customer's bill when you accumulate all of those factors and adjustments, the average LRS customer who uses 500 kilowatt hours a month will see a decrease of $28.12 on their monthly electric bill, which accounts to about 16.6% decrease from current winter rates. And as I mentioned, this is about $1.55 less than it was last summer. That summarizes the impact for electric customers. The only other filing, the fifth and final filing that I'll discuss tonight, relates to our natural gas customers. And I haven't discussed this at all tonight because most of the factors for natural gas are handled in fall on an annual basis. There is one factor though, which aligns with the timing of our electric ISR filing, and that's our gas ISR filing. On December 31st, 2024, we submitted our gas infrastructure safety and reliability plan. Much like the electric plan, the gas ISR plan enhances the safety and reliability of our customers' natural gas distribution system. We propose investing $186.6 million in capital investments in the 2026 fiscal year. And along with this investment and the passage of the Rhode Island Utility Fair Share Roadway Repair Act, we propose $22 million in costs for curb-to-curb paving expenses. If approved, residential heating customers using an average of 845 therms yearly will experience an annual increase of 4.4%, which if you're to average that over the year, it's about $6.55 per month or $78.58 for the year. With that information, I'd just like to restate again that relief is coming with these decreases for this summer. It's important to explain and understand the different components of the bill and what drives those. And I'd also like to note that while energy costs impact all of our customers, some are particularly vulnerable to changes in costs, and we understand that. And we continue to offer a variety of programs
What are you going to do about it?
to help our customers manage and pay their bills. Let me talk about some of those programs to help. First of all, we have budget billing, for example, that spreads payments evenly across 12 months to make customer bills more predictable.
Still too high.
We have flexible payment agreements that help customers disconnections by paying.
Still too
that helps
high.
avoid
Why don't you just lower the
disconnections
bill?
by paying an overall
Just a predictable
due
high
balance
bill.
over time. We have discount rate programs that offer up to 25 to 30% off an eligible residential customer's total bill.
Adjust the eligibility.
We have forgiveness programs known as the Marriage Management Program that forgives up to $1,500 on your bill per year to eligible customers. Energy efficiency programs help our customers find ways to reduce energy by lowering their energy bills. We actually have a few of our customer advocates here tonight, sitting in the back of the room, that are here to provide specific assistance to any individuals who wish to seek that. And in closing, please know that we are committed to working to make energy as affordable as possible.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Stop lying. Can we talk
Energy to your
about next
homes and
year's
businesses.
winter rates while we're lowering the
Thank you
summer
for your time
rates?
tonight.
What summer? We want to know about next year's winter
What we're going to do
rates.
now is we're going to go to the public comment on the.
My name is Catherine Selassie, C-E-L-A-C-N-Y. I live in Warwick. And I'm only going to talk about the last 2 months, okay? I'm not going to do what everyone's talking about. Oh, it gets higher in the winter than the summer. We all know that. And first of all, I'd like to thank you for having this meeting. It's very important to your residents, but I hope you people listen and not just have the meeting. My bill last month, okay, and again, I did not change anything in my house. It stayed the same. Okay, had moved from $100 to $200 some dollars a month.
Shame.
Okay. And now, this month, again, I do not use the oven. I have a little oven broiler I cook on. That's it. Okay, I keep my house at a low temperature. Well, to me, it's low, it's 68. Okay, and my bill was over $400.
Shame.
I am talking not just for myself, but for my neighbors, my brother, and other seniors. We cannot afford that. Most of us are living on Social Security, maybe a small pension. Some of us even can't get all the full Social Security because, with husbands passing and everything else. We don't have this type of money. And I do not want to have to move and leave the state because of this. But it's not so much, it's supply, yes, it's high. But that delivery charge is 3 times the amount the supply is. It was a little bit higher, but not 3 times the amount of what I actually use for supply. So I just wanted to let you people know that this is a crisis and for everybody, not just seniors, but especially for seniors. And again, I hope you're going to be listening and taking notes on what is being said and actually think about it.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next name I have on the list is Merton Smith.
Who?
Mars is coming.
He's coming.
You know, so the microphone can go to him too. Sorry. Wants to pop in there?
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you, Merton.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for holding this hearing. It's very important to all of us. I'm a little bewildered on the way these bills are laid out. They don't explain a whole lot. I don't understand what this customer charge of $6 is a flat rate every month. Maybe you can explain that, maybe not. RE growth program change, what is that? LI heap enhancement check charge or change for 79 cents?
What is that?
What is that? There's a lot of things you put on these bills that just don't make any sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When you add it up, I mean, there's an awful lot of customers here in Rhode Island that have to suffer through that. For example, I'm on Social Security, and I have a very small pension, and I'm paying a mortgage. There's 3 people who live in my house and 2 dogs. They don't need much, they don't take up much space, use much electricity. But overall, it really isn't fair, it just isn't fair.
That's right. That's right.
Period.
Yep. That's right.
Talking justice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
The next, I'm going to have trouble with the handwriting. I apologize. It looks like Jim, and the last name begins with an M. McLean? I'm sorry about that. The pen gave out on some. Here
you go, Jim.
Here you go, Jim.
Come on, Jim.
Go, Jim. He's got some facts for you.
Got a folder and everything.
My name is McLean, McClain, Johnston residence. Been in this state for 49 years, from Tennessee. I'm used to Tennessee Valley Authority electricity. Yeah. My question to you, sir, and no disrespect, I hope everybody listens. How close are you to National Grid? You bought the company, how close are you to it?
Can you answer the question?
Yeah, you paid $3.1 billion for the company and you don't answer it?
That's unbelievable.
What about the UK? What about the UK? The National Grid was a part of. Right here, in your own words at the stock market, you say, we received $11 billion. And that $11 billion come out of my hide because I've been paying National Grid all this year.
Shame.
Now, the electric bill, you say the delivery charge is 35%? You're wrong, buddy. I got an electric bill. I got a gas bill for $118 gas. Now, be honest with me. You make no profit on your gas, you say in this article. How much profit did you make on, what do you sell a 100 cubic price of gas to us as a customer?
Give us a number.
Come on, answer.
The stock market, $4.51 today for the gas that you are authorized to buy. You may pay $7. National Grid paid $11.
That's right.
If you go and add that up, I'm paying more than $11 that you say you make no profit on.
That's right.
Now, let's go to the peak energy bill that you sell. I used 164.8 therms. You charge me 59 cents 330. That comes to $97 delivery fee. On the off-peak time, the same 164, which you're not allowed to triple dip on the same amount of energy. What comes through that meter is what we pay for. Yet, you've triple dipped on it. So I'm ending up with $203 for your delivery fee. And tell me, on $118, to me, that's 200% increase on your deal.
You must think we're stupid.
Now, the good part. What did you do with the $11 billion profit that you made from selling National Grid in UK? That was done in 2021. Your peak hours, you charge one price for it. What are the peak hours? Daytime? 12 hours in the daytime and 12 hours at night for off-peak? Well, you should be dividing that 164 into two pieces. 59% of what the 168 is for the peak, and 43% on what that. But no, you didn't do that. You charged it on the complete 100% on all three of them. So you say you're 35%? That's all I have to say.
You're wrong.
He failed math.
Wow.
Last month it was even worse. It was over 220%.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it.
All of this.
I told you he was ready for it.
All of this is one thing. If you regulators just allow them to tell you what they're doing, you don't know what they're doing. And I would suggest that you sit down with somebody who knows what's going on. Check the stock market. Read what they do.
Do your job.
Their stock just went from $27 in March of last year to $39 this year, just on the stock market today. So I'm telling you, you do charge a price for the gas. It's not much. I appreciate that at $118 for gas, because previous years it was $220, but now I'm $323, $100 more. I'm an 80-year-old retired person. No pension other than what I've saved in my work. I didn't work for a company like the state or somebody like you that you pay your people very good wages and provide them health care. I had to pay every bit of it myself. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a nice night. And you will watch what they do.
I just wanted to acknowledge that, again, we have, for anybody who wants to get into the specifics of their individual bill and the challenges therein, that we have representatives in the back of the room that will be available as long as it takes this evening to walk through that and break out those details.
Questions he had?
Just wanted to give that reminder again.
So the next person I had on the list is Sue Kelly.
All right, Sue. I'm gonna try.
Woo, Sue.
Yes, sir.
My name is Sue Kelly, Kelley, and I am angry.
You're not alone.
I'm angry at a profit motive separated from humane considerations. I'm angry at an ever-increasing profit that squeezes hard-working Rhode Islanders, forcing us all to make difficult choices between heat and food, children and rent. I am angry that no corporation expects itself actually to be supportive of the greater community or actually to consider the morality of its actions. I'm more angry after talking to the amount of people I talked to outside of this building. People whose rates went from 100 and something to a month to 200, 500 in 3 months.
Great.
Why is that happening?
Why?
Who can budget for that when you don't know it's coming?
Right.
We won't even mention the people who went from 700 to 1,000. This is outrageous. How can you rationalize this? How can you tell us that we're going to save $1.45 or something like that when people's prices are tripling? That's outrageous. I'm 76 years old. Yes, I depend on Social Security, to which I contributed every single day of my working life. As long as I don't do anything foolish, like go to a movie, contribute to charity, or splurge on something silly, like a vet bill, I can make it. It's stressful and tight, and I know I'm better off than most of my Rhode Island neighbors. But we all see what's coming. Medicaid, cut. Medicare is going to be cut. Social Security, SNAP, Head Start, and many other programs that actually help Rhode Islanders survive are about to be gutted or eliminated. At that point, your elderly Rhode Islanders, not to mention those with children or those with disabilities or those with minimum wage jobs, are going to suffer, are going to struggle, and will likely add to homelessness in the state. Greed is the new God. Customers are dispensable. Corporations will bleed us dry for profit, forgetting that our elimination eventually eliminates profit too. How do we trust utility companies when, for instance, there are such things as National Grid's billing scandal? How do we trust a company? How do we trust a company which has profits, which has profits as its number one goal? We start from a place of suspicion at best. How can we know whether there are not even now additional accounting tricks that have us paying more than we should? Like that 79 cents Jim mentioned. What is that for?
What is it?
Then there is the fact, thank you. Then there is the fact that our utility bills have increased by as much as 50% over the past 2 years. This is the time period when the CEO of Rhode Island Energy saw his pay package increase from $9 million per year to $12 million. That only happens when there is profit from us. We demand the Rhode Island Public Utilities Commission enforce an immediate rate cut for all Rhode Island utility consumers. That rate cut is necessary to provide financial relief to households struggling with the high cost of living, to prevent heat and electricity shutoffs, which should never happen. That is inhumane. Hold utility companies accountable for fair and reasonable pricing. If there have been shenanigans before, how do we ever know that they're not happening now? Who is auditing the company? Who is auditing them every single month? We should ensure access to essential services for all Rhode Islanders, regardless of income, because that is fair, that is just. I thank you for listening to a very angry old woman.
Name here that I'm going to struggle getting the last name. It was Ed, and I'm having trouble reading the handwriting.
He's coming.
Okay, good. My apologies, Ed, last week.
The people are ready.
People are mad.
Clap it up for Ed. Here we go, Ed. Here we go.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Morissette. It's all right. My handwriting's trash. I get it. It's Morrissette. I'm a 26-year-old engineer who just moved out of the nest. I'm not really going to go super into detail about my situation, but like all of us back here, it's a pretty familiar tale. I had a mixture meter situation going on with my apartment for the past, 7 months. And it's taken all 7 of those months for you clowns to try and fix that. Very cool. I've been calling maybe like every week, maybe twice a week, at least, for those 6 months, without any significant gain in progress or showable results, if you will. My bill hasn't gone down. My electricity is, I figured out that I'm paying for my neighbor's floor instead of my own floor. And there's obviously no one in your company that went and checked the actual bill. So, cool, very nice accountability on your ends. But that doesn't even go into the fact that you guys have a bombastically overpriced rate for electricity, for gas. And all this, meanwhile, you claim to have a good mindset towards running a business, but we look at your profits and it's $888 million for last year.
That's just Rhode Island Energy.
Yep. That's just, what the gentleman in the back just said. So I ask you, what are you doing with that money? Are you investing it back into your business like you should? Like, are you improving things? Yeah, it sounds like you're just like paying your top dog a lot of money instead of helping us out. All of the Rhode Island proletariat gathered behind me, we're all suffering. And you people are sitting in your high and mighty castles. It's incredibly frustrating. Forgive me, I'm a little hungry, and I'm about to get out of here. Probably spend more on electricity than I do on my food, thank you. So, cool.
Thank you.
Representative Carter.
Who?
Megan. So back there somewhere.
Megan.
Keep coming.
Here
we go, Megan.
Go, Megan!
Hello. Thank you for listening to us tonight. My name is Megan Cotter. I'm a state rep from District 39, Exeter, Richmond, and Hopkinton. And I think it's incredible because as I look around the room, I see many of my colleagues here tonight, Democrats and Republicans, and I think that's really powerful to see that you have a bipartisan issue here.
Absolutely.
When I was canvassing this summer, knocking on doors, there was a common theme when I spoke to people and listened to what they have to say. they can't afford to live in Rhode Island anymore.
That's right.
Specifically, there was a couple in their mid to late 80s. The husband was still working. They could not pay for their medicine, their utilities, their taxes, and their food. He was working full time. I listened to what they had to say, and I hope that you folks listen to what all these people have to say today, because the buck starts with the PUC. Rhode Island Energy wants you to think that renewable energy is the reason why our bills are so high, while at the same time, the CEO got a 31% raise, making $12 million. So I ask you, is it renewable energy, or is it profits?
Greed.
I will be brief because I know there's a lot of people that still need to talk, but I'm going to sleep well tonight because I know that I did what the people of my area need me to do. I fought for them.
That's right.
I hope you'll be able to sleep well too.
Go Harrison! Go Harrison! Go Harrison!
Good evening. The stories that I've heard
Just
today.
1 second, can you just spell your last name for the stenographer?
Tuttle.
Thank you.
Thank you. The stories here today are the reason why all the people behind me are coming to tell their story about the actions that the state of Rhode Island and the Public Utility Commission has done to them. This is by far the most people that I've seen from all a part of Rhode Island, both on the left, both on the right, that have come together to say enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough of the price gouging. Enough of taking home profit off the back of senior citizens living in this state.
Profit.
Greed.
Do your job.
For profit and greed. And I don't like it when people come to this hearing and there are members of your commission who are smiling at people who are struggling to pay the bills right now because of the cost of living.
Wake up! Wake up!
Being serious.
Wake up!
This is a crisis.
So today, I encourage you to listen to your customers. I encourage you to have the morality to lower the rates, not in the summer, but tomorrow.
Oh, yeah!
Please, look at these people. You have people on fixed income saying that I can't even go out to the movies.
Right.
Is that the state that we want to live in?
No! That's why we're moving. Amen.
People are having to leave the state because they can't afford rates.
They don't care. The rich friends will just buy up all the houses.
It's true.
They don't
That
care.
is true. That's true.
The facts are there. Please lower the rates. Thank you.
The next name I have looks like a Mark, and the last name appears to begin with a W. But I apologize again. Some of the signatures are hard to read.
Here we go, Mark.
Sorry. Go, Mark. Go, Mark.
My name is Mark, pronounced Wiese, W-I-E-S-E. Like many of my neighbors here tonight, my bill has continued to go up over the last few months. And my only question is, you're citing climate change as it was a cold winter this winter. You obviously weren't around about 15 years ago when it snowed at least 12 inches every week weekly through February. And if you don't think, if you think it was cold, what are you gonna do when it's hot? Because people have air conditioners, they have fans, they have needs, and you really aren't listening to us. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
The name I have appears to be Lisa Duff.
Last name is Daft, D-A-F-T.
I'm apologizing. It's dangerous. We're trying to get the hand raised. Go ahead.
So I am here tonight. I found myself here because on Facebook, everybody in the state seems to be complaining about their utility bills, how come they're doubling, things like that. So I started pulling my own bills and started looking at those. And I do agree with everyone to sit there and say that the delivery charges of 35% is not accurate. I have two bills here. We have both gas and electric at our house. And for January, my supply charges were $168 and my delivery charges were $280.
That is not 35%. I'm not a
And I don't have one bill. I do not have one bill, Pat, that's even close to 35%. My electric charges were $101 and my delivery charges were $99. So they just go through there. I have the whole packet. So I started to also look. We have a condominium in New Hampshire. And while you can't really compare the usage, it's not our primary home. I tried to do, yeah, it is. I tried to look at it in a percentage, and we are definitely paying at least 20% more, than what I pay in New Hampshire. And when I look at the daily or the kilowatt price, it looks like Rhode Island is somewhere around 16 cents, and New Hampshire's like 10. So, I do have something to compare it to. I also talked to my parents in Florida who have much better utility prices there. I think that I agree with most what everybody has been saying there. This is a statewide issue. These are people from the East Bay. I lived in this state for my whole life, but have lived in the East Bay for 27 years. When I first moved here, I never had a problem. I say the last 15 years, if the wind blows the wrong way, we lose power. It becomes so problematic that several people, half my street has a generator and it's all you hear when the power goes out. So, there's renewable charges. I don't really agree with a lot of, what's happening. It's very confusing to read the bills. The explanation was even over my head. I'm quite involved in the local, political scene. But I don't know, I'm looking at the commission. I have a lot of disagreements with what's happening with the bills. But the commission is who we are, you all are who we need to, get help from. You need to either figure out what to do with the energy sources or find...
Yes.
We need to look at where is the energy coming from, how do we get it cheaper, how do we get it better? What we need to do. And if you need to start pulling on legislators, there's a lot of bad policy in the state, okay? And there are definitely solutions. There are new energy sources. There's better ways to bring it in. Gas, pipelines, whatever needs to happen. I'm not an expert in that. I fix teeth, okay? I don't know this. I pay my bills, and when you start looking at it, it is kind of dismal looking. And my heart goes out to everybody because I'm here, because I'm fighting for all Rhode Islanders, because I lived here my whole life, and I do listen to people, and that's one of the reasons I came here tonight, because I wanted to hear. I'm pleasantly surprised at how many people were here. There's a lot of problems in this state, and it's not just from the energy companies, but it's also what's happening in our state. And I hope that we can try to all work together. We need to figure out how to get lesser prices, because other people in our neck of the woods are paying less for utilities, meaning the usage and delivery fees. And we need to look at ways to bring in better energy, cheaper energy, clean energy that will benefit everybody in our state. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next name I have is Kathleen, if I'm pronouncing this correctly, Giroux.
All right.
Come on, Kathleen.
Let's go.
Commissioners, don't hide behind Rhode Island Energy.
I was a resident of Rhode Island most of my life. I lived in Florida for 5 years. I have never paid the amount of money that I've been paying for the last few months here. I live in a 900 square foot apartment in Smithfield. My bill in November was $98 for my gas. Then it went up to $205.
Oh my God!
Then to $335. Last month was $404. Florida, I had central air, heat combination, and I never paid over $150 a month for my utilities. Never. I have a disabled son at home. I'm in my 70s, and I can't quit working because I can't afford to.
Because you keep raising the rates.
Stop me now, the American dream! What are you doing?
I just can't afford it anymore. I'm ready to pack it up and go back to Florida. I mean, I grew up in Smithfield.
They don't want to take no profit out of their pocket now.
It's crazy. Crazy. I mean, $404 for a small 900 square foot apartment.
That's what they got to
I don't cook a lot. I keep my heat on 68. I mean, and it's crazy. It's gonna bankrupt me.
We should all just not.
I'm not eligible for any of these programs because between my social security and the
Programs
small
are for
pension
those
I
that
have, I
don't
have too
have
much
nothing.
money.
That's the only way you get something if you got nothing.
And I don't have anything. I don't have savings anymore. It's being put towards these utility bills.
The commission has to say no.
You
It's the
gotta listen
commission.
to us. Do their job. And not Rhode Island Energy. I mean, if you go up and down Smith Street to North Providence, they've been working over there for months. And you see 20 to 30 guys over there. What are they all doing? They don't need to be standing around with their hands in their pockets. And it's Rhode Island Energy workers. So what are they doing?
Taking your money.
Taking your money.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Ian Chernaski, if I got that correctly.
He's coming.
Here we go.
Hello, hi, I'm Ian Chernaski, and I do understand that the...
Could you spell your last name?
CHERNASKY. And I do understand that the supply rates are going down. I'm here to talk about the distribution and transmission costs. I just think it's absurd that you guys are proposing to allow Rhode Island Energy to increase the transmission and distribution rate when PPL just announced that, record profits over $800 million for 2024. And they specifically called out the Rhode Island Energy Division for having over $110 million in profit for 2024. So apparently that's not enough. And then, the PUC on their website describes the transmission distribution rate as like what it costs for Rhode Island Energy to maintain the wires and blah, blah, blah. And I get that, there's a cost that, but like, how come Pasco Electric charges like 7 cents per kilowatt hour to maintain their wires? And fair enough, they're not maintaining like the high voltage, whatever wires that Rhode Island Energy does, but then we just have to look a little bit west. In Pennsylvania, PPL in Pennsylvania, they charge like 9 or 8 cents per kilowatt hour for transmission and distribution, whereas they're charging almost 16 cents per kilowatt hour for the same thing here. How is it that Rhode Island wires are more expensive to maintain than Pennsylvania wires? Does that make sense to anybody? You look even further west, like you go to like Minnesota, Nebraska, wherever. They're all in electrical costs is 14 cents a kilowatt hour. So like for some reason, it costs Rhode Island Energy more money just to maintain our wires than it does for a Minnesota utility to supply everything all in. Like this is crazy. Like why is it more expensive to maintain our wires than it is for them to do everything out there?
Explain yourself.
This is even if you look in Connecticut, where like Norwich and whatever has like the municipal utilities, their all-in rates are lower than Rhode Island Energy's transmission distribution alone. Like this doesn't make any sense, and a lot of this doesn't make any sense to me. Like, no offense, Mr. Chairman, but like, it doesn't even make sense how you have your position considering you worked for Rhode Island Energy for many, many years. Undoubtedly, still have friends working for Rhode Island Energy. And like, I I just asked myself, like, how could someone who worked for our utility be in charge of regulating them? Like, that makes no sense.
It's not working.
And then I fired your name into open secrets, and it turns out you've made over $8,000 in political contributions, including $500 to the governor who appointed you to this position.
Shame!
So, like, what are we doing here? Why does anyone who has worked for a utility, like, why? How is it not a huge conflict of interest for them to be regulating the company they work for, who they undoubtedly still have friends who work there? It's crazy. Like, what are we doing in this state?
You're gonna step on his.
Thank you.
He was a lobbyist too.
It looks like the last name is Raposo, but I can't read the first name. I apologize.
Can you say?
Say it again.
Can you say it again?
It looks like
she's
the last
coming, she's
name
coming.
looks like Raposo, and I can't.
Let your hair down.
I can't read the signature.
Oh, you got a team now.
Good evening. My name is Maria Raposo, and I am very shy about talking, but I am very, very aggravated because this month my electric and gas bills came to almost $1,500.
No.
And my Social Security does not cover that. And my heat stays at 68, 69 the highest, and I don't understand how come my bill came that high. It's hard to keep up with it. So I would really appreciate if the ones in charge would take a hard look at us paying customers.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good job.
Good job. Well done. Good job.
Hello, thank you for taking testimony tonight. My name is Christy Perry. I'm from Cranston. I came here to speak on behalf of my mother. She became a widow at the age of 35 and has spent her whole life working, taking care of my sister and myself. And now she's 69 and she has to worry about turning the lights on. And that is not fair. Rhode Island is better than that. You guys need to do better. I'm also here to speak on behalf of a friend of mine that couldn't be here tonight. He owns a property and he has his lights set on a timer, the same lights, the same amount of time for the last 5 years. And last year, all of a sudden, his usage went up. How is that possible?
Corruption.
There has to be something going on. There must be some, I mean, it needs to be looked into. That just does not add up. And lastly, what I'd like to say is while I was standing in the back of the room, eavesdropping on Rhode Island Energy employees speaking, one said to the other, "Oh, they should see what Massachusetts rates are," as though we should be thankful that we're paying these high rates.
Great customer service in the back of the room.
Really good customer service.
It's not right. And we're taxpayers here. We rely on the PUC to make a difference for Rhode Islanders. And this is your opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Michelle, and I'm sorry, Michelle, that I can't read your last name.
Go, Michelle.
Here we go, Michelle.
First, thank you for listening. More importantly, thank you for everybody coming out tonight. I only know about this.
Could you spell the last name?
Previe, Previe. I only know about this because my sister told me about it. What I would say is I dare you to advertise this meeting in public news stations, in a large auditorium, and I guarantee you wouldn't have a couple hundred people here. You would have thousands of people here.
Maybe we should do that.
Do it.
When America faces the most significant inflation to wage disparities in one of the highest cost of living states in the United States, our citizens are being hit with outlandish electrical and gas rate hikes disguised as delivery fees. These hikes surmount to greed and theft and put our most vulnerable groups at risk of hunger, poverty, and foreclosure in a state where poverty is already at 10.9%.
That's unbelievable.
Shame. When more and more families have to choose between lights or food on the table for their children, elderly between warmth and medicine, the wrong decisions have been made.
That's right. That's right.
I'm going to say this slowly because I think it's very important that you hear this and you understand this. Utilities are necessary. They are not optional. This is not something people get to choose at the end of the day. It is something that they have, that they need to live and survive.
Exploiting needs.
Amen.
It's wrong.
Directed at the commission.
Amen.
Yes.
These increases have very real life and severe consequences for everyday Rhode Islanders and need to be readdressed in a realistic fashion, not as disguises of decreases in the summer that'll be reinstigated again in the winter time when our citizens are paying the most and using the most. Our leaders have failed us in their negotiations with you. We are here tonight to renegotiate with you. I say that again. Our leaders have failed us.
That's right.
And we are here to renegotiate with you. These aren't just individual costs either. They are inflationary costs. They go to businesses and ultimately will trickle down to our citizens again and again and again. My cost of daycare has gone up because their utility costs have gone up.
Shame.
There is obvious mismanagement among the electrical and gas fields. Our meter was just recently replaced in my home.
Oh, yeah.
A meter, mind you,
Yeah.
that looked exactly the same as the last one. I asked you, what purpose was there for this replacement? Because if this is where these added costs are going into, there's obvious misappropriation of funds and resources within the electrical departments. Listen, I work retail. I, more than anybody, understand the necessary between business and profit. But there is a moral obligation here as a provider of necessary living and care resources. And conscious capitalism is possible without robbing Americans.
It's a middle initial A, and I can't make out the last name.
I think we have a reading comprehension.
It looks like it begins with a C. Sure.
Say it again.
It looks like it's John, and middle initial A, and a last name that begins with a C, but even that I'm not sure.
We got any Johns in the building?
Yeah, my name's John. My name's John.
Hi, John.
Hi, John. You go, John.
Hi, John.
Big John.
Hi, y'all. Can everybody hear me in the back?
Hi, John.
Awesome. Sir, what's your name?
Could you please identify yourself?
My name's John.
Last name?
John C.
Could you spell the last name for us?
Whatever you have there in front of you, sir. What was your name, sir, from Rhode Island Energy?
Ma'am.
What was your name?
Ma'am. His name is Brian Schuster, but we
Brian.
put together the comments.
Okay. You want to know my name, sir? My name is Lauren, Lauren, Del Signore, DELSIGNORE.
All right, here we go, Lauren.
So, Brian, I've sat in the back of the room. No, Brian, you can look at me because I'm speaking to you. And it's disrespectful when you don't look at people in the eye when they look at you and talk to you, okay? So, I've been watching you this entire meeting while these people stand up here and they tell you, the only person in the room that represents the only national company in our state to supply our energy services to us, okay? And you've sat there with that smug look all night, raising your eyebrows, smirking here and there. I know it's rough for you to be here. I get it. Because your company is for profit and it shouldn't be. So I'm here to tell you, sir, and you can take this message back to your CEO or whomever, the guy who made the 12 million. You can take it back to him and you can let him know that we are going to petition for all utilities to be nonprofit in this state.
Yeah!
And then we're gonna get rid of your company because you don't have our best interests at heart. You only have your stakeholders' best interests at heart. That's very clear to all of us here in this room. And probably most of the Rhode Islanders who couldn't be here today because they're taking their kids where they have to go and they're making dinner and working and whatnot. So I just want to let you know, sir, now that you're on notice, that we are going to be working very, very hard on a grassroots level to make sure that your company is no longer profiting off the back. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, I'm going to address the organization here, the PUC. I encourage you, I demand actually, that you do not allow them to have any more increases until we, the public, have a chance, because by the way, I'm going to be going through all of those financials that are listed on their website, line by line, because you're not the only one who knows how to run a business. You're not the only one who knows how to go through financials. You're not the only one who sees how much something costs and how much we are getting in and what our profit margin is. And you, sir, and your company do not have the moral fortitude to run the company that you're running. But we, the people, do. And we are going to do our homework. I can guarantee you that. So I would like to say to you folks, please, do not give them any more increases until we, the people, can figure things out. We are in a very precarious position, not only locally, but nationally. There's a lot of people who are losing their livelihoods. They're going to be losing their money from Social Security that they depend on, and they cannot afford these increases. And that is the bottom line. They cannot afford it, okay? And I know that there are people in this room that feel like, they'd rather be somewhere else. Believe me, we would all rather be somewhere else. But it's apparent to us now as citizens that we cannot rely on the people that we have elected to make the decisions for us in a morally responsible way. That's right. Okay? So now we are now taking back our responsibility and we are stepping in. And so now it's going to be even harder for you guys to shove things under the rug. Because we're looking now, and we're going to be paying attention even more.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren.
But I'm going to go to the next name on the list. If I've skipped over someone by the name of John, you can come back. The next name I have appears to be Joyce. It looks like Flore, but again, the signatures are difficult.
Fiore.
Oh yeah, Joyce is ready.
Here we go, Joyce.
I don't know if it's Fiore or Flore. It feels
Oh,
strange,
I
so-
love it. Yay, Joyce! You gave a great interview.
My name is Joyce Fiore, Fiore, and I am from Cranston. I've lived in Cranston for close to 50 years now, and I have never, ever seen bills that I've seen right now. It's outrageous. I've worked all my life, paid Social Security, I've had a budget, but like somebody else has said, which I'm probably going to reiterate what everybody has said, because we get the last on the list, everybody's always said everything that you're going to say. But from December, my bill was $164. It went up to $333 in January, which I thought was pretty high. I dealt with it. Figured, the cold weather, like you said, which one gentleman said, what happened 12 years ago when we had the cold weather and all the snowstorms. I never had bills like this back then. February, it jumped up to $580. Now, in March, I got my bill for $528. So between February and March, I said to my husband, we're going to cut back on our electricity. In the morning, if the sun is up in the morning, which it won't be now because of the time change, I take a shower in the dark. I shower with the lights. Keep the lights off until I absolutely need it. We've had our light on a timer downstairs. We've shut that off, so we used to have it on so people would think we're home. Now we don't even care. My stove, I don't even do a lot of cooking, but it's gas. My heat is gas. The gas bill has gone up, but not as much as my electricity. So my question is, how in the world can I receive a bill this high when my neighbor that lives 2 houses up from me has the same type of house? Him and his wife work from home, 2 computers on all day, lights on all day, and their bill was $149 compared to $529. I ask you, is there a problem with the meter? We had our meter checked, somebody came out and all they did was just visually look at it. Oh, it's fine. I don't think it's fine. I think something is wrong with the billing because it's impossible that everybody's bills have gone up this high and all the details that everybody has brought up to you. There's something wrong. Something wrong behind the scenes that we're just not aware of.
Investigate.
And really, from everything that you've heard from everybody here, and I speak from my friends that can't be here, and everybody has taken time to come out, and we all have busy lives, but we're all fighting for this. We can't afford this. And we're really begging you, really, to do something about it and stop the high profits. We don't get a profit. We don't even get a COLA where I come from. We don't get any increase. The inflation is going sky high. My groceries are almost $8 for a dozen of eggs.
Eggs.
I mean, and that's just, you know, well, I mean, you have to do something. You've got to do something for us because people can't afford this.
50 million.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony?
Oh, so it's her partner.
Is there Anthony Fiore?
Oh, he says he's gonna pass. Yeah.
Oh, can I go?
Yeah.
Can I go? Can I go?
The
Can I
next
go?
person, is that Anthony? No. The next person.
I'm not
Say yeah,
Anthony,
just say yes.
but my name is real simple. My name is James Brown.
James Brown,
O-W-E.
That's right, baby.
I'm sweating. I'm actually sweating because I've never come to one of these meetings before. And I say thank you, gentlemen, for being brave enough to be here.
Yes.
I know the words that you're hearing is not good for you, but they are good for you. You are elected officials for us.
Appointed by the governor.
They still got a good job. And I don't have a problem with you making money. I do have a problem when you take money out of my pocket. Rhode Island is a great state. Great state. It's a small state. And Rhode Island has done many, 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 many good things. They've also done some terrible things. And we're not going to go into history about it. We're going to just stick with today. Everybody behind me, to my left, to my right, if you look at them and you evaluate just what you see. Don't evaluate nothing. Just evaluate what you see and say, how much money does he make? How much money does she make? How big is her house? How many children does she have? I see in front of me, if I let my imagination run with me, you're not struggling to pay your mortgage.
No, they're not.
You're not struggling to pay your light bill. Hey, that's the way you got it. I didn't get to be rich. You know what I'm saying? That ain't my bag. But you were gifted with it. And you may not be rich, but you got plenty of money. You know? I drive a Ford Ranger, 2011. It's a good truck. But I can't buy a 2025 though. Because I'm trying to keep ahead of my light bill and my water bill and my gas bill and my eggs and my bacon. You know, and folks, these people behind me, including myself, if you don't get it, we are struggling. We are struggling. My gas bill went up from February from $188. Now understand, that was an increase from $94.
Whoa.
I don't heat my house with gas. I dry my clothes with gas and I cook with gas. March, my gas bill was $1,284.17.
How is that possible?
Really?
That's an error.
Well, you know, they say they're gonna put a new meter in.
That's extortion.
I told them, don't do that. Folks, we have to fix this little problem. It's a little problem because you can fix it. You can fix it. You got the power to fix it. You know, you don't struggle to go to the grocery stores. If you go to the grocery store,
Yeah, right.
you know, you may have somebody else to go do your shopping for you. I don't know. But that's not what I got. I got to get out there every day and go to Shaw's and all these places. Well, actually now, I'm almost down to Aldi's. You know, because I'm trying to figure out where I can save some money at. You know, I know what I did do in my house, and it's proven almost to defeat the gas company and the electric company. What I do, instead of not cutting the light on or going around and cut the lights off when the kids leave it on, and you know they don't care. You know what I do with that? I unplug it.
Yep.
I unplug it. My wife gets upset with me. Oh, I gotta go and plug it back in. I said, well, hey, you know, it's been off for 2 hours. You go ahead and you can plug it back in now. You know? But if we go downtown, we unplug everything in that house that we can.
Yep.
Just to keep the electric bill acceptable. You got some great people that live in this state, but we gotta do better. We can do better. We gotta get rid of the greed. I don't want to insult you, but I feel the greed is there.
Greed is bad.
$1 million is not enough. I gotta make more, James. If I squeeze them a little bit more, because look, somebody said it was essential.
Yes.
It was something like you gotta have these things. I saw a movie the other day where the chief had discovered fire. And he said, oh, I keep this for myself. And the man told him, said, no. It wouldn't benefit you in the long run if you just kept it to yourself. He said, it's better if you spread it around.
Amen. Wow.
You see, you got to spread it around so we can all benefit. You can keep your big house, but let me keep my little house with some lights on it. It's elementary if you don't see it. I'm not a college grad. I just got a high school education. But I understand that if I don't supply it to all the people, if I don't give it to all the people, I have a revolution. I have a riot.
It's coming.
And we don't want that. Rhode Island is always telling me that they want to be the forefront of new stuff.
Yeah.
Be the forefront of this.
That's right.
I appreciate your patience and again your bravery, and I commend you for it.
You're a
Thank
big
you.
man.
Just say your name.
My name is Melissa Randall.
What are we doing?
Waiting. Making sure they feel safe.
Oh, they're over capacity because they're raising the prices on Rhode Island. Too many people pissed off.
As well, We have a notification from the Warwick Fire Department that we're above capacity. And so that means that.
So maybe you should delay the meeting and reschedule it to somewhere we can obtain the amount of people.
Senator, could you stand up? Could you stand up?
We've had a meeting with this size people before. I've been to multiple meetings. Now all of a sudden, we can't be this size?
Well, I make a motion that you reschedule the meeting to a hall that can accommodate this amount of people.
I second.
You have time to get more people.
Everybody knows what it's on the deal.
They're not even concerned.
People took time out of their day.
Motion to second. Second.
Second. The people made it clear.
It is an open meeting and you should be able to accommodate all who are here.
We're trying to, at this moment, there's another hearing upstairs where the television screens can be shut off.
We can't hear you.
We're checking upstairs for there's a second hearing room upstairs where those that are standing can watch it from on the camera upstairs, and then as their names were called, they could come down and speak. That's what we're checking on right now. But we can't leave it the way it is. The Warwick Fire Department is going to clear the.
Motion's been made to reschedule the meeting.
Please reschedule the meeting so people can testify.
How did you not know this?
Why is this hard? Hear people's voices. Reschedule.
This is intentional. Fraud. You didn't have the sound ready. You didn't have the meeting room ready.
You have to reserve 5 hours for all of us to speak.
People took mass transportation here.
Some people have left already. How are we still on capacity?
How much are we over capacity? How much?
A bunch of people have left. How many people do?
What's the exact count? And what
standing, you have to go outside.
No, what representative of the fire department was here, and why didn't they make that clear noise here?
They're actually supposed to
If you're
stay.
standing,
Why won't you tell us what the count is and how much we're over?
the count's 112.
All right, and how much are we
We're
over?
at 180 right now.
And how did you not know this now ahead of time? How did you not plan for this?
When I gave you the courtesy.
Oh, a
Sir.
courtesy. Thank you so much.
So, I guess you just blew that chance.
Oh my God, what will I do?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're standing, you have to leave, please.
There are not 112 chairs. There's a chair right here.
Cut the rate! 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 Cut the rate!
What's that?
Cut the rate! Cut the rate! Cut the rate!
This is fun.
They'll ignore it.
I'm taking her place.
That was
The
John.
last name, gosh, it's tough to see the next one. The first name begins with an A. It looks like the last name is Rastor.
That's
Rastogi,
me.
perhaps.
That's me.
So those are the names that I have next. So we'll start with Lee Wilder.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Lee Wilder. I work with the George Wiley Center, and I just want to echo what everyone's been saying. You know, I think the rates are way too high. I think they need to be significantly lowered. Claiming that they were lowered doesn't seem like that was the case, so that's something else that needs to be figured out. I also want to bring up one more thing is the what's called SIP and PIP, and for those who don't know what that is the Serious Illness Protection Plan and the Percentage of Income Payment Plan as well. And I see some people shaking their heads, which make me yeah. Okay, so yeah, seriously illness protection plan, we need that because there's people who they can't work because they're sick, and then they can't pay their utilities and they get shut off, and then it leads to a shorter lifespan, which is obviously devastating. And yeah, so with George Wiley Center,
we have some people with sign-up sheets outside, so if anyone sees anyone with a clipboard, you can go sign up and you can get involved with them. So essentially, yeah, I just want to echo what everyone else has been saying, and I, strongly support lowering the rates and getting a seriously illness protection plan, and also a percentage of income payment plan, which is a vaguely similar thing to where people that have a lower income only pay about 6% of their income goes to utilities. And there's other states that have done it, and it seems to work out really well for people. It leads to a better quality of life, longer life, which is what we're looking for, and that's all there is to it.
Thank you.
Next one is Lauren. Oh, sorry, someone say Lauren wasn't here?
Yeah, I'm taking her place.
Okay. You can just state your name.
I'm Senator Elaine Morgan.
I'm sorry, Senator.
I represent Hopkinton, Richmond, Exeter, West Greenwich, and Charlestown. I thank Representative Bobby Quattrochi for being here today, and Representative Megan Carter. We are all concerned about this. I got a call about 4 months ago from my mom. She's 86-year-old widow for 5 years. Her electric bill in Warwick went from $225 to over $600. She's 87 years old. She cannot afford to live there if this continues. That's almost a mortgage. She didn't pay that much for her mortgage when she bought her house in '64. But that goes to say, you were commissioned by the General Assembly to protect us, the ratepayers.
Yes, right. Speak it out.
We're asking for your protection right now because Rhode Island Energy is making a big profit. They offer profit, and I would like to see other electric companies come in and be able to bid on the electricity. I know you can outsource it. Okay, it doesn't save much. We need competition in Rhode Island. We need to protect our ratepayers, and my constituents are crying to me they can't afford it. Basically, the new meters being put on the homes.
Oh, yeah.
I know you can't answer this, but you need to ask Rhode Island Energy, or I don't know if they can answer it. I'm hearing different things. If we don't replace these meters, we're going to be charged $20 a month to keep our old meters. Would it be more cost efficient to do that? Because these meters seem like people's. Right. I think we might be better off paying $20 a month. And then I'm hearing that there'll be $30 a month to replace them. Yes. I don't know if it's going to be a month or a one-time charge. Nobody knows. Nobody can decipher these bills. They're having a very hard time. Buying in advance. Rhode Island utilities need to buy their electricity in advance of when they know that there's going to be, it's called the market. And they need to buy in a good market to give us good rates. Why are we not seeing these rate drops on our utility bills with all these solar fields they're putting in? Because we're not seeing that electricity. It's being sent out to other states. Why aren't you questioning this? We need to protect our communities and our billfolds. And I thank everyone who showed up today. This was an astonishing turnout. And I really hope and pray that you listen to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Thank
Asim Rastogi, and then there was Elisa Ray and Linda McCarthy. So if anyone's upstairs and heard your name, and then Linda McCarthy was written twice, it looks like. Okay.
So I already spoke at the beginning, so I'm going to keep this relatively short, but you've heard a lot about people's bills.
Sorry, could you identify yourself?
Yep, Asim Rastogi, A-S-E-E-M, like the things that hold your shirt together, Rastogi, R-A-S-T-O-G-I.
Thank you.
Now you will never forget. So,
everybody here has a personal story about their bills and all of this stuff, right? I'm not going to talk about that because we've had that ad nauseum. What I think is important is to project what's going to happen if this doesn't change. Right now, people are in danger of losing their homes because they can't pay their utility bills. And we know, like microeconomics professors, anybody who's an economist would say that shelter is a need. Part of shelter is your utilities. You can't just have a place like a roof over your head and not have utilities to support your standard of living. So as people are unable to afford their shelter, all of your friends in private equity are just chomping at the bit. They're chomping at the bit to buy up even more properties in Rhode Island and flip them for massive profit that is akin to the profit that Rhode Island Energy made last year and continues to make off of our backs. This is a crisis that goes beyond a singular bill or a few months worth of a bill. What you're doing right now is setting the stage for private equity to take over every single neighborhood in this state that does not exist in the same tax bracket as you.
Exactly.
That is unacceptable. That is not a left issue. That is not a right issue. That is not a center issue. That is just plainly an issue. That is a critical issue facing this state that should not happen. And because Rhode Island Energy has a monopoly on the power supply here, they have been allowed to gouge us because of the decisions that have been made by this commission.
That's right.
And like I said in my opening comments, it's not a mistake that it happened. It's not by chance that you just didn't look at the strategy. It was a decision and a series of decisions that have been made that are hurting the people that you are meant to serve.
Exactly.
We all understand the value of the word serve, right? It's something you do for people. But right now, you are doing something to people. And there's a massive, massive difference. So I urge you, not for me, but for everybody in this room and the millions that couldn't make it tonight, to do the right thing for people. Right? I see the state seal right in front of you, Mr. Chairman, and it says hope. I'm not sure, but look at the people in this room. I'll move out of the way. I'm a big guy. I'll move. I don't see too many hopeful faces here. You and your cohorts here and Rhode Island Energy are not living up to the one thing that's on our flag, the one word that's on our flag, that is hope. Give these people hope. Give us all hope that you're going to do the right thing for people over profit. Thank you.
Thank you.
McCarthy, and Michael O'Neill, the next three. We have Lisa Ray here.
Hi, my name's Lisa, and the last name is Roy, R-O-Y.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So a lot of people have said what I already wanted to say when I came up here, but I just wanted to add, in addition to, I received a postcard in the mail due to the upgrade we're supposed to be receiving in certain areas. I guess you'll get it sent when your area is going to be done. And then I called to ask about it, so they were saying there was an additional charge for the homeowner or whoever would, if they wanted to opt out of it, in addition on top of what we're already paying. And I had spoke with someone and said our rate increases are already significantly high. With that on top of it, every month, if you choose to opt out of it, which I don't think is right. That should be up to the homeowner to decide that. So I did ask for information on how, like, the installation and everything else. I want to know a little more about it. But I agree with a lot of the people here, exactly what they had said about how we're living from paycheck to paycheck. Our incomes, I'm a single homeowner. I have family members who are retired on fixed incomes. We're all in the same boat. So I just wish with all of us here that you really think about all of what we're saying and really think about it and try to help us as best you can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lynn McCarthy, Michael O'Neill, and looks like Lev Pablo. Is that, yeah, those are the orders. Is this Lynn McCarthy?
Michael O'Neill.
Okay. Do we have, let me, you can speak.
Mike
to someone.
ready.
I want to see if Lynn's here.
No.
No, okay. Go ahead.
My name is Michael O'Neill, O-N-E-I-L. I'm a New York resident, born and bred in Pawtucket for 42 years until I moved. As far as 35% on the delivery charge, if it was 35%, we wouldn't be here. Because my bill is $290, $200 is delivery charge. Okay? So it keeps going up and up. You guys need to do something about the renewable energy, forcing them to buy from them, because the price is too astronomical. It's not cost effective. The other issue, Senator Morgan had talked about the smart meters. The thing that I've learned about the smart meters is this. Two gentlemen were at my house Friday. They took a picture of my meter. They asked, I asked them what they were doing, so we're gonna put in smart meters. I'm like, not in my house, you're not. Because it's the same company in California. The California company is responsible for 75 to 100 homes that burn because of the meter. The meter has a lithium battery. The battery starts burning at 300. Then it goes to 600 degrees. Then it goes to 6,000 degrees. You can't put it out. It's like having a Tesla on fire.
Right on your house.
There are people in California that have their meters locked up because they refuse to get that meter. Now, what's going to happen? What does a smart meter do? Does it allow them to adjust the meter itself from downtown and increase the rate or increase the usage to make more money? I don't see the use of why you need a smart meter. I really don't. And now that it's really not safe, I don't think Rhode Island should do it. And if you opt out of it because of those fire and causes in California, then we should not have to pay a fee because we're opting out. We shouldn't be forced to take the meter for people that can't afford to pay their bill. $20 is a lot of money if that's in fact what it costs per month. So, every time I turn around, Public Utilities Commission is giving them another 25%. And I think that's ridiculous. You can't squeeze juice out of a lemon when it's all gone. You can't squeeze us any much more than what we're going on with. From last year, I did before I came here, I did the analysis on my bill. So from last year to this year, it cost me $800 more. So I'm up to $1,900 for heat and electricity.
Holy moly.
Just for the 4 months. November to February. So things have to change. They need to buy power from Connecticut, the nuclear power plant. They need to buy power everywhere else except for renewable energy.
Run Manchester Street.
So, you guys need to change it up. This can't keep going on. We're Rhode Island. I'm 60 years old. I got 8 years left for retirement. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to work a part-time job. I drive the Logan as it is now to work. But what am I going to do later on? Sell my house and move out of state? Because I'm not selling my house and try to buy something else here. I'm going. I'm leaving because it's just not worth it. Rhode Island's my home, but I don't think it's my home anymore because no one else here is going to be able to afford it. Thank you.
They don't care.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next meeting I have is, if I'm pronouncing this right, is Lev Poplo. And let me just get the other names so it sees there's people upstairs. Then I had Karen Rosenberg, Amanda Sawyer, and Jessica Cabrera, and Janet Ward. Those are the orders. But go ahead, you must be Lev. If you could just spell your name for us.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I have a damaged vocal cords. I cannot speak loudly.
We're good. We can hear you.
My name is Lev Poplo, P-O-P-L-O-W.
Sorry, sir. Last name was spelled out.
P-O-P-L-O-W. Exactly the way it sounds. My story's not much different from all the other people who've spoken tonight. To the person from Rhode Island Gas whose name I don't remember, I want to thank you for coming here with your mind-numbing statistics that have overwhelmed people to the point where we don't even know what the hell anything you said means. But the truth is, I want to talk to the commission. Frankly, sir, nothing personal. I don't give a shit about you. I care about the commission. I care about my own bill. I care about the bills of my fellow Rhode Islanders, and I care about the future of this state, which is precarious at best. You know, we all know what inflation has done. We've all been to the supermarket the last few years. We've seen the price of everything go up. I used to be middle class. I don't think I'm middle class anymore because I still make the same amount of money, but it sure as hell doesn't go anywhere near where it used to. And I used to be able to pay my bills and have plenty left over at the end of the month. And now I barely have anything left over. When it comes to the utilities, so I keep my house 60 degrees at night when I'm sleeping, and I don't turn it up past 66 during the day. And I work out of my home, which means I'm pretty chilly most of the time. Last year, now my bill, these numbers aren't going to be as big as other people who have spoken tonight, but comparatively on a percentage basis, it's pretty much the same. Last year, in the period of time when I just got my bill for, which would have been from about the middle of January until the middle of February, my electric bill, and by the way, I did not use more power. I actually used 8% less electricity and 12% less gas. My electric bill last year for the same period was $39. This year, $84. That's pretty messed up. My gas bill, and as I just said, I used 8% less gas than I did last year. Because of how the prices have gone up, I've had to adjust whether I'm even warm in my own house. Last year, it was $298. This time, $426. So I hear what you say about the rates going down, but frankly, it sure don't look that way to me. And it doesn't feel that way to other Rhode Islanders. And as bad as it is for me, at least I have a roof over my head. And it will be a struggle for me to pay these bills. But I will get them paid. But I care about more than myself. I can't help but think about all the Rhode Islanders who are living even closer to the edge than I now live. And I feel like I'm living pretty damn close to the edge. I think about those people. I know many of those people. They're worried about if they're going to end up homeless. And it is a legitimate concern. And so I asked the PUC, when it comes to the amount of profits that companies like Rhode Island Energy makes, when is enough enough? When do we perform the service to the residents of our communities? When are we going to commit to helping life be more affordable? When is the Public Utilities Commission going to say no to rate increases and say, not only are we not going to raise the rate, we're going to force you to lower it? From what I understand, the rate was increased 17% in 2023 and another 17% in 2024. 34% in 24 months? That's ridiculous. And I'm curious how much, we know the CEO of Rhode Island Energy made $12 million last year and got a $3 million raise. But you are owned by another company, PPL. I wonder what the CEO of that company made. And you guys are publicly traded. I wonder what kind of dividends you're getting paid out to your shareholders. And why? To the Utilities Commission, I ask. Are the shareholders more important than the people who live in the state that you live in? Who cares about their shareholders? It's not my decision to make. But if it was, I would tell them not only you're not getting a raise, but your rates are dropping by 20%. Unfortunately, that's not my decision to make. And I would also agree with the people who said we need some competition. Why do they have a goddamn monopoly? I can't remember what gentleman it was who was up here earlier tonight talking about states like Minnesota that are a hell of a lot colder than we are. And they're paying less, a lot less. A state like Pennsylvania, which upstate Pennsylvania certainly is cold as Rhode Island, if not colder, and they're paying less. So I think you even need to lower your rates to what people can afford and stop worrying about making so much goddamn profit and start thinking once again about the people who you serve. The people who are struggling to pay their bills, who are struggling to put food on their table. The people who may live on a fixed income, Social Security, a small pension, Medicare, Medicaid. What is going to happen to those people when it's possible those things that they have are about to be cut? What's going to happen to the people in the state of Rhode Island? Thank you very much.
The next thing we have is Karen Rosenberg, followed by Amanda Sawyer, Jessica Cabrera, and Janet Ward.
Hi, I'm Karen Rosenberg, K-A-R-N, R-O-S-N-B-E-R-G. I didn't go through my bills, to do like a month-by-month comparison like other people did. I just looked back February of this year from February of last year, and I think that my gas bill was about 15 to 20% higher, and I think my electric bill was probably like 100% higher. Most of my things in my house are gas, so my electric bill thankfully is a very small fraction. I also did a rise audit and had insulation put in. I replaced my water heater, so I did things to make a lot of improvements, but my bill went up. So I'm not going to complain because, well, I'm not going to say that I'm suffering the way that a lot of people here obviously are. I'm lucky to have a union pension, so I'm not afraid of losing my home. But I am astonished to hear the increases that other people are talking about. And I hope that the PUC is going to look into this. I mean, it's inexplicable and it needs to be addressed. I mean, you have to be accountable to the people here for what's going on when people's bills go up by $1,000 in a month or something. I mean, that's nuts. I just came here, I'm not going to repeat a lot of things that have already been said many times, but the other thing I want to say is that it's a privilege to be a public utility and to have a monopoly. And I'm just not seeing how the Utility Commission is holding the utility at all responsible.
They're not.
They're getting profits. The CEO is getting a $3 million increase and making $12 million a year. I mean, where did shame go?
They don't have any.
Out the door.
Where is the shame at what we think is acceptable for a CEO to pay while the rates of working people, retirees, people with disabilities, poor people are just going up and up and up, and and they're expected to live on an unbelievable fraction of that. How is that acceptable? You have to do your job and ask questions. It seems like all the risk and all the increase goes to the consumer. There's no pressure or incentive on the company to make itself more efficient or solve these problems, because no matter what happens, you agree to give them an increase. And then they can pay out a lot to their shareholders and a lot to their CEO. And meanwhile, frankly, the residents of the state are just getting screwed to the wall year after year. Please do your jobs.
The next thing we have is Jessica Cabrera, followed by Janet Ward. Looks like Amy Salazar, and then Joyce Fiore, if I have that right. So is Jessica here?
Joyce already spoke.
I can go. I know.
Yeah, maybe there's a name written down twice, but I'm not sure.
Alright. So, I have so many thoughts. Jessica Cabrera, Jessica, Cabrera, Cabera.
Thank you.
I could probably stand here and tell you that, I can't really afford my utility bill, I have student loans, I could probably tell you my whole personal story, but I'm not gonna really do that. All these people kind of already said that said already a lot. What I am gonna ask the commission is to question, and I know you've done your research about what renewable energy is, and I wanna remind you what renewable energy is, right? Technology costs less. It makes it more efficient. Why is the prices rising? Those are the questions that you need to ask him before you allow him to raise our prices. And you know what? They may sit there and tell you like, oh, you know what, renewable energy costs more, but that's not true. You know what they're doing? They're gaslighting you. And me as a mental health counselor, I know exactly what gaslighting looks like. Actually, I'm going to read to you the definition of gaslighting. A psychological manipulation tactic in which a person tries to convince someone that their reality is untrue. Do not gaslight us into thinking that renewable energy costs more, because it does not. It costs us more, correct. And unlike all of you, some of us can't even afford to go to therapy to deal with all of the psychological manipulation that you guys are doing. So, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
And then that would be followed by Amy Salazar, Brian Cardoza, and John, it looks like a name I saw before, I'm not sure. Go ahead.
My name is Janet Ward. I'm not going to be redundant and repeat everything everyone said, but I do have a great concern about two things. The Public Utilities Commission approved these new meters in September of 2023. In spite of all of the testimony as that gentleman said, the health risks, the lithium batteries, all of the problems that these new meters have, you approved it in 2023, despite all of the testimonies. Also, if you opt out, you have to pay to not take the chance of having your house go up in flames or have health risks. So if I opt out, as any of us opt out, we will have to pay a fee for something that is supposedly helping us. Even though the testimonies that was presented to you, the research that was presented to you, you passed the approval of it in 2023 September. That's first of all. Second of all, we are all here. We are giving our testimonies. My fear is that you will listen to us as much as you listen to the testimonies about these new meters.
Right.
Okay?
Say it.
We are here, we are telling you all of this information, which you already know. You know how high these bills are. You know about the economy of Rhode Island. Yet you consistently allow these increases. In all the years that I've been in Rhode Island, and in my house for 50 plus years now, I cannot find where the Public Utilities Commission has ever denied an increase.
They've never said no.
They've never said no. So I question, who are you protecting? You are appointed by a governor who is supposed to protect the communities, protect the constituents, protect the people. But yet you consistently protect Public Utilities Commission protects energy companies. So I worry very greatly, are they going to protect us as they protected us against these meters, as they protected us against not the increases all the years?
They will not.
Well,
we'll
I
see.
have a feeling, because this is impacting people where they can't live, they can't support themselves, that this is going to be different. We are not going to sit by the same way. I don't think any of you expected this kind of a turnout. This is not the end. This is the beginning. Thank you.
we have up there?
Yes, it's actually Aime,
Oh, I'm
and it's
sorry.
Salazar, Salazar. It's okay, it's
And
Spanish.
just before you speak, let me just give the rest of the names to others. I had Brian Cardoza, there was a John A., but we had that John A. before, didn't Tom? So
Yes.
I don't know. Then there was Paul, looks like Paul Rianawa. It's hard to tell, but maybe if they're upstairs and they could figure that out, but I just wanted to give them the notes. Go ahead, Amy.
Aime.
Amy, sorry.
So, first of all, wow, you guys, I'm so sorry to hear about all the money that you are being forced to pay, because I came here with my $16 bill, really being pissed off about it, and then I realized that my bills are nothing compared to everybody else in here, so shame on you for that. I just want to say that, like everybody else said, we can't afford this. I am a master's student. I'm going back to school because I can't afford to live as a preschool teacher. And my issue today is that I'm hearing someone say that our delivery fees are 35% or whatever number you threw out earlier to our bills. I have not been lighting my gas, unlike the gas line that's been happening, because I haven't been cooking because I've been so busy. And yet my supply is 66 cents, but my delivery charge is $16. And that is horrible, because I literally have not turned on my stove, and that is the only thing that's gas in my house, thankfully. But I'm being charged $16 to have access to gas that I did not use. And that is, I can't do that math right now, but I can tell you a lot more than 100% of what I'm actually using. So please don't tell me it's 35. That is insulting and that is lazy. And it's definitely not the same for those people behind me.
This is teachers. Teachers can't afford or can't afford.
Secondly, I am a teacher and I'm also a daughter of a person who is disabled, who is also on limited income. My dad lives with my grandma, who's also on limited income, so that they can make ends meet together. That is also not possible now that you are raising the bills yet again. The rent is going up, the eggs are going up, right? Everything's going up, and you're making it worse by saying yes again to another rate hike.
Sorry.
Who are you supporting? Who are you here for? It's obviously not us. And if it is, please wake up and do something else about it, because it's not. Thank you so much.
Is Brian there?
No.
Okay, then we have, I had that name John A., but I can't read the last name. Is that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Here we go, John.
Actually, my name is Daniel Benitez. I've been waiting for my hearing for a long time. And it's Daniel Benitez, D-A-N-I-E-L, Benitez, B-E-N-I-T-E-Z. I hope you can write that down very well. And I'm just here this afternoon saying that these prices are going crazy, which you guys literally don't care about it. As you can see, it's your dead face just staring at us, not listening to us, not even caring. And as a college student, we already balance many things with classes, jobs, utilities, as we used to say. And you know that one of these high rates utilities that you're saying, that is because we use a lot of energy, a lot of gas, that's fake. I called one of your professional customer service of Rhode Island and you're saying, why is my bill high? Oh, it's because you use a lot of gas, I think. You think? That's not a right answer. That's not an appropriate thing to say. Another thing that I want to say is things like, should we reduce the heating in winter, or do we have to face the costly bills? Do we simply accept the additional costs? For those of us who have part-time jobs, a significant utility bill that can disrupt our whole monthly budget. You think that's fair? None of us is fair for us for high utilities. Nope. As for me, I always pay like $3.20, $3.30 monthly gas. I'm not at home. I'm in school, job, in college, and double the price from my price. And one of my neighbors too. He's living one by himself. He's not at home. How the hell did they charge $800 for gas? That's big. And you know, you guys, I know clearly you guys have the power to reduce the price. You just don't want to accept it. as high professional CEO, actually, not a professional people because you guys aren't. You're just like regular people. Not helping our communities? What's the point of serving? What's your point of your professionalism? That ain't helping our people. It's just literally almost killing us the whole time. And I want to say this last thing. How many public hearings are you guys gonna do until you guys take action? Because we're tired. And it's not just college students, our community, our seniors, our parents, everyone is tired of your stuff that you just make it unfair. And another thing before I leave, I want to ask you, all of you, to lower the utility rates and apply the percentage income payment plan. That would allow Rhode Islanders to pay no more than 6% of our income.
6%.
That's what I want to say. Reduce those,
That's way high.
reduce those utility bills. Because I'm not gonna be paying just
1%.
around $600 monthly for my bill.
I like her.
That's just bullshit.
Taking that finance in school.
I would prefer something lower. Because I'm not paying for that. I'm just gonna pay my fair price and that's it. If not, I'm gonna be suing all of you and see what happens. And if you're gonna do it, do it right now. You have the power. You have the word. You can't just stand around here and say, oh, we're gonna increase our prices, increase our gas every month. That's not gonna work. You guys need to do something. So I ask one more time, reduce those high utility bills. Thank you.
So, when we continue down the list, and some people have been waiting a long time, I just asked that we try to stay in the order. It's Paul, the next name I have is Paul
He left.
Paul Rianello. I don't know.
He left.
He left, okay. The next name was Bruce Sharon, or Sharon, Bruce?
Yep.
And just for anyone waiting, is any upstairs, we have Laurie Ann, Sharon, and Sam Briscoe coming up next.
My name is Bruce Sharon, Charon. I'm here to talk about my utility bill. They came in, they put a new meter in the house. And before my bill was reasonable. But now the bill is over $100. And the thermostat is at 50.
Wow.
I don't like what I see. I've lived in Warwick all my life. I put 27 years in the military. And a lot of that money is going to go to this utility bill. So let's do something about this. I would really appreciate that, and I'm sure these people behind me appreciate that as well. I want to stay in Rhode Island. I just had a birthday, and I don't intend to leave the state, but if I have to, I will. I don't work. I'm 76 years old. I did my time in Vietnam,
Thank you for your service.
and I want a utility bill that's affordable. So let's do something, huh, guys? Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. And Laurie Ann, and I'm not sure what the last name is. It looked like it was Sharon, but I can't tell. Is it Laurie Ann here? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, good. Sam Brusco? Sam? And after that, looks like we had Senator Elaine Morgan already. After that is Representative Bob Quattrocchi, I'm sorry. Quattrocchi, sorry. Those are the next ones in line. Mr. Brusco, go ahead.
Okay, so Sam Brusco, BRUSCO. All right, so the members of the commission, if you haven't gotten this yet, what we really need is to expand the help, because a lot of people are hurting. That's what it comes down to. Dozens and dozens of people have told you their stories, and it needs to be expanded. Now, I have no connection to Rhode Island Energy. I used to sell solar. I don't do that anymore, but as a result, I became kind of an expert in electricity. I'm going to actually say some things that defend Rhode Island Energy. Please don't throw things. I bruise like a peach.
Yeah, your back's turned over there.
I'll know who did it. Now, one of the reasons why we pay so much, you may have said this, but honestly, it was kind of dry and boring. One of the reasons why all of the New England states pay more for gas and electricity is that most of our electricity is generated by natural gas. It's really methane, but we call it natural gas. And there is a bottleneck of the gas pipelines at the Hudson River. In summer, yes, the rates are lower because who's using gas? Nobody's heating their homes in the summer. Yes, they do cool their homes with electricity and air conditioning. But come October 1st, November 1st, you kick on the boiler, the furnace, and that demand for natural gas goes way up. You're competing with people heating their homes, and you're competing with the electric companies to create electricity. And that's one of the base reasons for the spikes in October 1st through April 1st. Another reason is we've closed down all the nukes. Well, not all of them. Several have been closed down. And before you say, oh, we need to build more nuclear plants, put one in your backyard and I guarantee you'll hate it. It'll never happen. It would help. Yes, it would help. It won't happen. 10 years is just the planning and the engineering. Then you have all the litigation.
Only because of red tape.
It's not just because of red tape. It's also because people don't want it in their backyard.
That cost is on them, not us.
Regardless.
No, not regardless.
Yes, it is. So I have all of the data.
Why are you up there arguing with us?
I have all of.
This is
Please stop. You had your chance.
I actually didn't have my chance.
Well, then you'll be next, okay?
Probably not.
Please stop.
You could just hurry up and lecture us on the building.
So, as I was saying, I have all the data from 2000 to 2025 for Rhode Island Energy's electricity. And it actually, over those 25 years, the average increase in the delivery charges was only 3.5% per year, average. But in the last 2 years, 22% and then another 14% on top of that. And what struck me was, I know New England has the highest electricity prices in the country, consistently, at least for the last 10 years.
Yep.
Except for Hawaii, they don't count. But always in the top 10. And then somebody said, wait a minute, Minnesota pays less than we do, all in, the supply and the delivery. I don't know how that's possible. Can you tell me?
They don't answer.
Okay, you're not going to answer. Another thing that kicked up the electricity bills this past winter was last year the state didn't take their 4 1/8% sales tax.
Right.
This year they did. So that's 4 1/8% right there. I've heard
that the Rhode Island legislature won't allow nuclear. Can anyone answer that? Is it like not even on the table to buy from nuclear?
They won't answer, they're just here for optics, just,
Okay. I would also like to know how much was reimbursed, how much was bad debts during the pandemic responsible for some of these increases? One thing we could do to lower rates is not call in out-of-state crews every time there's enough wind to blow a kite around. But the downside to that is your outages will last not hours, but days. So I understand your problem and I sympathize with you, but, and as for the smart meters, I presume that's so we can have time of use rate changes depending on what time of day you use your electricity, like California does. And if you can push the usage out to overnight, like if you have an electric car to charge, or you run your dishwasher at night like I do, that would actually reduce the overhead charges that Rhode Island Energy has to pay on electric. Because right now, we have a system designed for the absolute worst case scenario, and that's expensive. It's like buying like an F-350 truck, keeping it running all the time, and you have to pay for the gas all year long, even though you only use it once a year. And people are going nuts about lithium batteries and their health risks on the smart meters. I don't understand what that's about, because almost all of us have one of these in our hands, in our homes, probably right next to our beds at night. And they have lithium, and they have Bluetooth and cellular communication, cellular radio waves going out of them. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I have Representative Bob, and I don't want to butcher your last name again, I'm sorry.
I'll say it for you. Thank you, Chairman, committee members. Representative Bob Quattrochi, QUA, PTROCCHI, 2 T's, 2 C's.
Thank you.
So, I'm fully aware that the majority of the problems here come from the executive branch in Rhode Island, as well as the General Assembly. They, as it was said before, they failed Rhode Islanders. But that doesn't let you guys off the hook, because you're supposed to be the relief valve for that, I would hope, and I would imagine. I would also hope that you have the ability to say no to a rate increase. I don't know, you apparently not answering questions tonight, so I would really be curious that you even have that ability to say no to a rate increase.
Be the firewall.
It's been said that it's been a while since one has been denied. I don't know if it's been maybe never, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I hope it's not never. So I'm happily here, and I represent District 41, Situate and Western Cranston, and I'm happily here representing my constituents as well as all of the folks here, Rhode Islanders. But I'm also here representing myself and my family. My wife's watching, she's probably gonna kick out of it, but we're pretty hardcore. I mean, we leave through the winter, we've left our thermostat on 50. And we will gladly wear extra underwear, thermal underwear, and whatever it takes, sweaters and turtlenecks, to be able to save a little bit of money to spend it how we want to spend it, not on the state of Rhode Island and not on energy companies and what else you may have. One more thing, I don't want to say too much, a lot's been said. I just want to make one more quick comment. On the Commission's website,
You have a mission statement here about the commission, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says the Public Utilities Commission serves as a quasi-judicial tribunal with jurisdiction powers and duties to implement and enforce the standards of conduct under such and such a law, and to hold investigations and hearings involving the rates, tariffs, tolls, and charges, and the sufficiency and reasonableness of facilities and accommodations of, among many things, electric distribution. So, I just want to leave you with this. At what point I'm not really sure at what point reasonableness kicks in. Do we all have to be living in pallet shelters before reasonableness kicks in? Where does reasonableness even ever happen here? I think it needs to start happening. Thank you.
I'm gonna try to give 4 names here, and I'm not gonna be able to get them all with the spelling, but, or the pronunciation, but the next one is Melissa. It looks like the last name begins with an R. There's Allison Bannon, there's a Pamela, Paniatowski, it looks like, and Jessica Burton. I'm sure I butchered one of the 2 of those names. So I Melissa, Allison, Pamela, and Jessica Burton. It's okay. Here you go.
All right, so I'm Jessica Burton, Jessica-Burton. I kind of don't really know what to say, and not because I'm struck for words, but because I've stood here in front of this commission and before National Grid and then now around Energy countless times. Every single time, asking nicely, please don't do this, please don't do that, talking about financial situations, life, everything. Yet again, you guys continue to do what you want. And I'm shocked because the size of this room is growing every time I come here. Although I recognize that it's not enough. So my suggestion to the commission is, when you have these meetings, send the meetings out in our electric bills and our gas bills.
Good idea.
See how the meetings work and fit. I can guarantee you will need to reschedule these meetings for months because this building will be full. Nobody wants this. Nobody. I work in healthcare already, and I work as much as I possibly can on top of going to school and being a mother of 4. How much more can I work before it affects me taking care of maybe your grandmothers and grandfathers, or maybe even you guys at some point that I might be taking care of? It would be a shame to be overwhelmed and tired to pay you guys and have to take care of you, wouldn't it? Do you ever think about that? Probably not. But instead, I'm over here busting my you-know-whats so that way I can have money for my children and still go to school and work to take care of your loved ones. And on top of that, this commission can do the easiest thing possible. If you cannot regulate one utility company, give them competition. I've said it time and time again. We are the smallest state in between Massachusetts and Connecticut. There would be no contracting. I bet you if you got on the phone with them tomorrow and said, hey, can you cover half of my state and you cover the other half? I can guarantee you they'd come in here and give your company a run for their money and watch the rates drop. I'm not begging anymore. I've done that every time I've came here. I'm demanding this commission to do something. We've sat here and we've watched Dan McKee come over here during election time and finesse you guys. Oh, please do the right thing, da 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 da. A commission that he appoints, he's begging you to do the right thing. Go figure, right? And this is why I'm lost, because we keep doing this. It's not election time, so he's not here and he doesn't care. But his simple answer is always to create more programs.
which that does tack onto our bills, right? And who's paying for that?
We are.
This room is paying for that. And I can guarantee you, someone like me is not going to qualify for those programs. So now what do? What do we sacrifice? How much more do we have to sacrifice? And I know you guys can't give answers. And I'm glad that I have each and one of your attention. Because it's about time that you look up from your computers or your notebooks and you pay attention.
Or your phones.
Yeah.
Or your phones. Whatever it is that you're doing. I'm at least happy to have the attention, which I can't stand, by the way. I'm not even a public speaker. I hate it. Anyone in this room that knows me knows I can't stand speaking. But I'm here because I'm frustrated. And I know everybody else in this room is frustrated. And for the people who could not even be here, even more frustrating. I didn't even hear a Zoom link posted for anybody. For the people who cannot be here with disabilities, who may have wheelchairs or rides that they can't get here. So I'm going to leave you with a lot to think about because I said a lot. So hopefully that you're writing and you're typing, you're actually taking these suggestions. Thank you.
I have a representative Richard Fasher, Kristen Trott, and Linda Acosta on the list. And again, I hope that.
Did we skip over you? Do you mind, Representative?
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioner. My name is Richard Fasher. I am a representative from District 42, representing Cranston and Johnston. And I'm here tonight representing the 13,000 constituents that would not fit in this room, every single one of them unanimously against this increase in rates. We cannot afford it. A large portion of my constituency is elderly or on fixed incomes. They don't get to appear before a commission or a board to request an increase in wages or income every time they decide they want to upgrade a new couch or a stove, much like for Rhode Island Electric and Gas. Whenever Rhode Island Electric and Gas decides to undergo an upgrade or something of that nature, they come to this board and they ask to be relieved of the cost of those upgrades. Ultimately, that is passed on to my constituents who can no longer afford it. 13,000 people is just one district of 75. My colleagues in this room, representing the same demographics, none of whom can afford to pay these rates. For as far back as I can remember, from the time I could pick up a newspaper and read it, this board has never denied an increase to either Narragansett Electric, Rhode Island Electric and Gas, whomever the entity might be. Tonight we've heard over and over again stories about how much money Rhode Island Electric and Gas makes. $888 million last year in profits, $724 million the year before. The CEO gets a $3 million increase to $12 million a year. Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioner, that is not just absurd, it smacks of corruption. I implore you, on behalf of my constituents, on behalf of the people of Rhode Island, deny this rate increase. The people of Rhode Island who have charged you to protect their interests demand it. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Linda Acosta.
I think you skipped over me.
Oh, I'm sorry, and what was your name?
I'm Pamela Poniatowski.
Oh, that was one that I didn't realize you were here. I'm sorry, I read the name, but I probably butchered your last name. I apologize.
No, that's okay. I have been here every time that we have had this meeting. And it has grown bigger each time. And we have said many of the same things each time. Because we know that what's happening is wrong. When Rhode Island Energy bought from a Rhode Island company, they said nothing would go up. Now they're trying to tell us it's not going up. It is going up. So we're not going to believe that any longer. We do expect you
to start doing stuff for the people. Because you are the Public Utilities Commission. In my mind, that means you work for the public. This is the public. These are the people that you kicked out of here because it was getting too much. But at this point, honestly, because I've been here so many times, you should know this is going to be a big meeting. And it should be relocated. Next time, please think about that. Everything that's been said needs to be taken into consideration. What is happening to people in Rhode Island and everywhere else is immoral. We have 337 poor and low wealth people in Rhode Island. A lot of them are on the street. And a lot of them are on the street because they've been kicked out for evictions, for not being able to pay one of their utility bills. You're going to see more people on the street this next year. You will be part of the reason they are there. I don't believe any of you actually want that. But it concerns me that you don't have people like the people sitting behind me that are informing your commission. People that do not have money and are not comfortable, and that it does not affect what Rhode Island Energy does. Those are not the people that need to be on this commission. It needs to be people that are affected, that have skin in the game. It is time for us to take heed of what is coming down the pike. Because it's already been said, things are going to be taken away from us, and we're watching it happen. And we will not be able to pay these bills at all. And people are $400 away from a tragedy, from a bill, from an accident, away from becoming homeless, and they are much farther away from becoming millionaires. So we need to stop thinking that people have the money to handle this and start figuring out how we can make this a publicly run company that cares about its people in Rhode Island and that actually has an office in Rhode Island and not just in Pennsylvania. Because this is wrong, and it's been wrong for years.
Oh my goodness, yes.
We need you to take care of it. And please plan the next meeting for a bigger venue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kristen Trod, and then Linda Acosta were next on the list. Is Kristen or Linda? No. And I had, it looks like the first name is Maureen, but it's on the last name I can't read from the signature. Cynthia Wager.
Right here.
Okay, go ahead, Cynthia, you're up.
Mr. Commissioner,
Yes.
would that be Morris Devine?
Oh, yes.
Only John Hancock's signature
I
is
know, it's a
more unique than that
good
one.
signature, though. I just couldn't read it. Thank you. And then next we'll have, was it Cynthia that I called?
I'm good.
My name is Morris Devine. I'm from Westerly. That is a small little outpost on the southern frontier of this little empire. I've lived here in Rhode Island for 61 plus years. Don't let the stylish haircut fool you. I live in Rhode Island, born and raised. Rhode Island was a good place to live, good place to work, raise a family. In 2017, not by choice but by circumstance, I found myself raising two young men in my home. Things were tight. We had some discipline in the house.
And our electric bill, you could pretty much bet that it was going to be somewhere between $64 and $72 a month for years. In 22, one of the boys moved out. Couldn't afford to live here. He's in South Carolina. So I have some inside information on what the rates are down there. My other sons moved to Providence. Well, I'm an empty nester now since last September. My use is less, but my bill has gone up 3 times. How do you explain that? It's good to hear people speaking tonight. On any issue, if someone sends you a note, it's probably reflective of a conversation they may have had with a few friends. If someone sends you an email, probably reflective of the sentiments shared by many others. Someone takes the time to actually pen you a letter. That's a significant representation of one, resolve, and two, the amount of people that their shared feelings must reflect. And when you have people show up here and look you in the eye, how many people do you think that we're actually standing up and speaking for? The people upstairs? The rest of the people in this room that have been sitting here for hours on not so comfortable cushion? It's a lot. People are angry, upset, maybe scared, but now today, as opposed to 10 or 15 years ago, they're very, very well informed. Professionally, for 41 years, I'm an operations professional. I have worked from sea to shining sea across the fruited plain, met all kinds of fantastic people, worked on all kinds of projects, worked for an outfit called Combined Energies. I've worked in, operated, and built power plants, dirt burners, nukes, gas turbines. Out in the middle of nowhere, and built a gas turbine building not too far from Kelly Square up in Boston. So worked in all kinds of conditions. I know what it takes. For 7 years, for the Associated General Contractors of America, I was the National Safety Chair for the Utility Infrastructure Division. I know what it costs to build. I know what it costs to operate. And I know what people are paying in other areas of the country. And I confirmed that with some telephone calls to my other colleagues and friends that live in other places. Why, in the Northeast, are we paying consistently 4 times, 5 times, in some places more than 6 times the cost of energy when we look at things through the course of a quarter or through a year? Energy is gold. Gold, no matter where you are, the price is always the same. Spot price, it might fluctuate a little bit. But why the disparity and the broad breadth in the difference of the costs? Staggering. In the markets, we buy on rumor and sell on news. There's enough information out there in the public, and we're all talking about it, about meetings that go on between utility operators, gas and electric, and the state governments of all the states in New England. What happens in those discussions? Because when we get outside of New England, the rates are very, very much different. Not really sure, but there's wide, not wild, but wide speculation. Has it got something to do with the rates being set in the market? Is it protectionism? What's going on? We need to have answers to some of these questions. You need to really take to heart what the people are trying to share with you here. Things are pretty much out at the stops. Whatever's going on in the rest of the country, why can't we balance what the cost of energy is, sharing resources, competition? You talk about technology. I have run a business. I run a business now. I'm an operations consultant, technical and expert witness. We only ask questions that we know the answers to. When I develop a technology or I develop a new product, the cost of that product that I develop, I play with my own milk money, not the milk money of my customers. If they want that technology, they'll pay a price for it later on. But on the other hand, while I'm developing it, that's not a cost for the customer. So when you tell people a lot of this is to offset the cost of green technology that we all want anyway, it's wrong. And I will tell you that everybody in this room that spoke tonight could really, in comparison, when you look at your kids, when you look at your older parents, or young people that are struggling just starting out, they don't give a farthing about green energy. They worry about making it to the end of the month. So at that point, the generators need to think about what's going on. Our public officials that are charged with the security and consistency of our lives and our lifestyles, at that point, everybody needs to roll up their sleeves and come to work. Thank you.
Hi, I'm short. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can pull that down if you want. Yeah, there you go. Yep.
There we go. That better? Okay. Everybody said everything that could possibly be said tonight. I think we all agree that. Believe it or not, I'm from corporate. I used to work in corporate many years. I'm almost 74 years old. And when I was in corporate, one of the things that was very important to us was our code of conduct and business ethics. Let me read you some of those. Honesty, fairness, leadership, accountability, integrity, compassion, respect, responsibility, loyalty, respect for the law, transparency, and environmental concerns. Do you all have those? I'm not quite sure in this room if you do. A lot of these people up here are talking about personal problems, personal issues, personal tragedies, whatever they can't survive. I can survive, unfortunately or fortunately. I feel much more fortunate than most of the people in here. That's why I feel it's unfortunate in a way. I know it sounds strange. But I don't think you can. Deep down in my heart, I don't think you can.
Right.
You're looking at, you don't care about the people's plight. You really don't. It's all about your money. It's all about who knows who. I'm a Rhode Islander. I know exactly how this state works. Okay, and you can't take anything away from me. I've been here a long time. So, how do you appeal to us? I mean, how do we appeal to you? It's not going to do, oh, please feel sorry for me. It's going to be, I'm not going to survive if you don't cut my electric bills down. I don't know how we get to you. Because we can't take that need away from you. We can't force you to be fair. We can't force you to have empathy. We can't force you to try and help your constituents. None of you are elected. You all have the upper hand. You know that no matter what we said here tonight, if you don't want to do anything about it, you won't. And you don't have to. But you know what? You should at least adhere to some sort of code of honor, ethics, empathy, caring. Be a human being. For God's sakes, do the right thing.
I have Representative David Morales. I know he was here. I saw him a while ago. In the meantime, Pat Ford, if you're still here.
Still here. Pat Ford, F-O-R-D, representing CoalitionNews.com, Coalition Media Network. If I could first of all stipulate a question to Mr. Chairman Ronald T. Gortowski. Have you ever worked as a paid lobbyist for National Grid in the state of Massachusetts legislature?
Sir, we're taking comments that relate to what was before us.
All right, we'll assume that's a yes then. I'm going to do a little bit of dramatic reading from a journalist who was here a little earlier, Mr. Alex Kuffner, from the Providence Journal, who wrote a very fine article. RA ratepayers to get $8 million in National Grid billing scandal settlement. Let's think about that for a moment. Rhode Island Energy has agreed to pay nearly $8 million to compensate ratepayers for a building manipulation scheme that occurred under the watch of National Grid. George Carlin would have a field day in Rhode Island. A billing manipulation scheme. Now, I'm going to translate for the folks who are still here. I think that's called fraud. Everybody agree? Fraud. So we've got representatives here from the Public Utility Commission and the Attorney General's office. So was anyone indicted on any level of criminality for that fraud? Sir, you're here. Why not join the party? You're allegedly an expert here on utility. I would imagine you would have been involved in that negotiation. Was anyone indicted or sent to jail for fraud? Bueller? By the way, you can respond if you want to. There's nothing in the law that says that you can't respond to any of the people who spent most of their evening here after working a full and rewarding day. You simply choose not to. So I'm going to assume that because you weren't willing to, or didn't have the courage to answer, that no one was indicted, because we would have read about it, because it's a great article in the journal, Mr. Cuffin. So let's move along. Under that $8 million that was paid to ratepayers, it wasn't really paid to ratepayers, was it? No. It was put into a fund to help pay for costs for damaged utility lines. Now, in most businesses, that's considered something called cost of goods sold, and it's the responsibility of the provider, the supplier, the manufacturer. But only in energy world do we get to then take that, lower the cost of doing business while not really impacting rates. I would argue to you that that's fraud. And that's what's grotesque about this situation. We've got all the wise men here. We're willing to listen, and I've been to many of these before. And by the way, it is insulting not to have proper facilities. Again, we walk in, the sound doesn't work. We walk in, the video doesn't work. We walk into a room, despite the millions of dollars paid to, well, whatever, it doesn't work. That's insulting, but we're used to being insulted in Rhode Island. In fact, we always have sort of a, please sir, may I have another attitude. But don't mistake our kindness for weakness. Because as someone who operates as something of an independent media person out in the world, out in the real world, in the dreaded real world of Rhode Island, who also runs a small homeless charity, I can tell you things are getting far worse at an exponentially increasing rate. So to review, there's no issue whatsoever paying millions of dollars in the calculation that you put together. And by the way, I'm going to stipulate for the fact, I would argue that there should never ever be another individual who has received funds for being a lobbyist who should ever be allowed to be the head of a public utilities commission again. And I will refer this video to the wide array of legislators who joined us tonight, and that needs to be amended because you should never have this power. There's a clear conflict of interest for most of you. And the implications have been terrible. The calculus, the polynomial, multinomial equations that you come up with to arrange at these prices that you consider quite justified. Because the one thing that's consistent here, besides the horrific impact on people's personal wealth and folks who are borderline homeless, folks who are living on the verge of a nervous breakdown, the one consistency here is that you will take tonight and you will carefully, the wise men and women here, listen. You practice your listening here, some of you. And you won't do a damn thing about it. Why? Because you're bought and sold. You have no independence up there. You can't possibly. Sir, I work all the time out of state with people who are, they hold these government titles within large corporations. And their job is to essentially be a lobbyist and manipulate things. And that's fine, I guess. If you have an eternal soul, I don't know that you do. But the complete ignorance of any of the will of the people in any of this calculation, when measured by the impact out here in the real world, I visit 20 plus homeless encampments a week. They're growing, they're not getting any smaller. And I will tell you that once people lose their homes as a result of this, and they will, that will be blood on your hands. And you can look back and you can all justify yourselves that you, in this case, Justice Jones, I want respect. Why? You've worked the system your entire life. You are a product of the system. And the system is in shambles. Because of your failure act on behalf of the people that somehow you managed to be appointed to represent. And again, your willingness to sell out and say anything or do anything so that lots of people get rich and regular folks suffer. Sleep tight, Rhode Island.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, it is now 9:06 p.m. It has been a little over 3 hours since public testimony kicked off, and you have heard tonight from over 50 Rhode Islanders telling their stories in regards to their experiences with the outrageous costs related to their utility bills. And we need to recognize that what we are seeing before us is unprecedented. We do not have Public Utility Commission hearings that generate this level of attention, and it's become an ongoing trend because of the fact that folks are being forced to literally spend over 30-40% of their income just on utilities alone. I don't need to reiterate the stories that you have heard tonight, but now that the dust has settled, I hope that tonight's hearing will have actually produced some level of proactive thought as to how you're going to go back and work with the government officials of Rhode Island Energy to actually develop solutions towards ensuring that we have affordable utilities, even if that means cutting into the profit of Rhode Island Energy. Because this is where a lot of the issues derive, is the fact that we allow for a multi-million-dollar corporation to have direct control over a public good. The public good being electricity, heating, the basic necessities that one needs in their home. Yet, instead of taking action over the course of the last several years, we've had Rhode Islanders facing record levels of rate hikes. And despite the pleas that have happened, despite the 3+ hours of testimony that are heard, despite some of the attempts to have expert witnesses come on behalf of the ratepayer, these efforts fall flat. And for that reason, there have been efforts at the State House over the last several years to introduce legislation in response to the fact that you, as public utility commissioners, have done very little to actually address the needs of the public. We have introduced legislation to cap the profit margin of the utility company. We have introduced legislation to ensure that those with severe sickness and illnesses are not forced into a position where their utilities are shut off. Yet when it is time for that level of action, we either do not hear from the PUC in support of this legislation, or even at times, we get testimony in opposition from the PUC. I understand that Rhode Island Energy is always going to oppose these bills. But I would like to think that at the bare minimum, even if you are not taking action directly in your seats, you can at least be an ally to say, hey, we might not be taking the level of accountability we need, but we'll at least support the lawmakers that are trying to make an effort. Because I was in this room in the fall of 2022, when tensions were high and we were looking at a rate hike of over 40% heading into the winter, which ultimately passed. And one of the commissioners had the audacity to share to me as a lawmaker, perhaps you should go back to the General Assembly and seek some solutions. And despite those efforts, we haven't seen movement. And a lot of it can be attributed back to, again, the fact that Rhode Island Energy, in their right, has no direct responsibility to serve the needs of the public. They don't have to provide affordable utilities to the working people of our state. As long as the rubber stamp is presented by the PUC, which it has, and I'm concerned that even after tonight it will continue to be provided, they can continue to rake in profits. They can continue to pass the cost down around all infrastructure improvements back to the ratepayer. And that's what leads to hearings like tonight. And I understand that this has become a process that we have played out over the last several years, where we have one night over the course of every couple of months where the community gets very riled up and they show up and they tell you what they think, they share their stories, some of which are very depressing, yet no action is taken. And so yes, I am concerned that even after tonight, not much will have changed. But I want to be very clear that there is a level of advocacy. There is a level of community solidarity that is focused on ensuring that utilities are affordable. And that advocacy, I hope, will lead to action at the State House to supersede the lack of action that the PUC has taken. Because I just want to reiterate again that you, as appointed commission members, are supposed to serve as a safeguard to price gouging. You are supposed to serve as a public interest of ensuring that people are not being taken advantage of. Yet, when you don't take action, the people behind me making 6 figures plus working for Rhode Island Energy directly benefit from that. The people from Rhode Island Energy, the executives, are able to directly benefit from a lack of action. And I get it that to some it might even be humorous that they've had to hear from countless advocates, and the saying oftentimes is, well, they don't know how the system works. But this is the part where public input has to make a difference. And I'm tired of continuously having to come here, only for all of this to not matter in the final decisions, because some technocratic study was able to justify a rate increase. And so I'm here again asking that you not approve any further rate hikes. You look towards reducing the costs of electricity and gas as we head into the summer, but that we commit to ensuring that we have stagnant rates, that we have a system in place where we're going to work towards lower rates. Because the cycle is going to continue where people find themselves in excessive utility debt. And while I know that you can afford to have these hearings every couple of months and get yelled at for hours on end, I want to know that the working people of Rhode Island are going to continue to suffer even after today. Even after some feelings have been hurt, the working people are still going to have to go back and look at their monthly bill that is escalating over $400 plus. And so despite all of the aspects related to the technocratic studies that go into justifying rate hikes, I hope that this level of care and compassion and empathy does exist to go back to Rhode Island Energy and say, we need to figure something else out. The model is not perfect. It is without question a broken model, but it is one that has levels and rooms for improvement for you all to make. And so as a legislature, I again urge that you take those steps. And I also urge that you support legislation that provides protections that those who have documented illnesses. That you support legislation requiring the utility company to actually have an in-person customer service center in the state that they operate in. I urge you to support legislation that ultimately caps the profits of the utility company. Thank you.
Excuse me?
Do we have folks that are on the Zoom, by the way? Sure, take 5.
I had signed up to speak and
Did I call your name earlier?
you did, and then I got skipped over some.
Well, we'll take you, and then the stenographer's fingers are probably going to break, and she's just... So we'll take you, and then if folks are watching on the Zoom, we'll have to take 5 minutes to get the stenographer away. But I'm sorry, go ahead and identify
Thank you, I
yourself.
appreciate it. My name is Amanda Sawyer, and I'm a resident of Warwick. About a year and a half ago, I bought a house. I stayed for a long time, looked forward to that. I was kind of forced to buy at the time that I did when the rates were terrible. And I know there's a lot of people that are like me that got stuck with an almost 8% interest rate. My mortgage is it's like $2,800 for a $300,000 fixer-upper house. They said that we could afford it, marry the house, date the rate. So I've been waiting for these rates to come down. And I work full-time, I'm in healthcare. And my fiance, he's a full-time welder. He started working Saturdays we're just trying to get through, thinking, the rate's gonna get better, something's gonna get better, and it just is getting worse. It's impossible to budget. Like I said, we bought a fixer-upper, and we had to replace the roof, and we had a mold issue, and we had a toilet leak one time, and we had to get a 24-hour rental for a dehumidifier, and our electric bill for that just 24 hours, it was like $900. So we actually, because we wanted to stick to the budget that we thought that we would be able to do, but everything, we had to hook up to the sewer within a year. It's just, we're just getting hit with so much, it's impossible to budget. And we actually door dashed. Like him working, 9 hours and on Saturdays too, even as a welder, and me, I'm working full time, but we were door dashing to pay that unexpected electric bill because the toilet leaked and we needed this humidifier because I was worried about mold. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that are like us that are struggling with these crazy mortgages. I mean, at my work, I have the highest mortgage out of everybody there. Everybody's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? I don't know how I do it. We're cold. We're worried about mold. We're working our ass off but living like second-class citizens, basically. And we're just waiting because they say, the rates are going to get better. And the mortgage rates aren't getting better. Nothing's getting better. It's only getting worse. And the savings that we had is just, I never wanted to be week to week. And when we bought the house, I didn't think it would happen, but it is going to happen. It's going to happen to me, and it's going to happen to a lot of people that aren't in this room tonight. So I'm hoping that you guys can do what you can so that people don't lose everything. So, thank you.
We can take about a 5-minute break before we get the folks that are on the Zoom, so just hang in there.
Okay, thank you. I've been here watching this entire time. I just wanted to put my input on the deceptive and very unfair pricing that Rhode Island Energy is charging Rhode Island residents. As far as the distribution fees, I mean, someone really needs to consider putting a cap on these. I first contacted Rhode Island Energy back when I got my January bill that was just about triple what I'm usually used to paying. They told me it's because I use more therms. So I really cut back. I barely used anything. And then I got my February bill, and I'm looking at the therms, the efficiency program charges. So when I used more therms in January, I was actually charged a little less in some of the distribution fees. But then when I used less therms in February, I was charged more in some of these energy efficient program fees, and the customer charge was actually more when I used less therms. So I spoke to Rhode Island Energy. They said, well, we could offer a discount if they claim to offer a discount. It says it right here too on their website. I have it here. If you receive food stamps, or you qualify for heating assistance through LAHEAP or SSI for a 25% discount. Well, I'll tell you right now, that's a lie. I did recently get approved a couple months ago for the LAHEAP assistance. I got my March bill, and it was even just as high. My supply charges were only $147, but the delivery charges are $249. I asked Rhode Island Energy before I even knew this meeting was happening today. I was on the phone with them this morning asking why the 25% hadn't been applied. Rhode Island Energy told me, no, that doesn't apply to you. You don't have food stamps and you don't receive SSI. You only get that credit from LAHEAP and that's it. But it clearly states that I should be receiving a 25% discount. So I feel like you guys really should look into that because I'm struggling too, just like everyone else. I think you have everyone in Rhode Island just about upset or losing their mind over these unfair prices, except for one woman with a $60 bill. I'm sure she went home feeling a lot better. But the majority of us, I mean, we can't keep doing this. I have to decide whether I'm going to pay a portion of my rent or try to pay the bill for electric and gas, which I barely use. For a rate increase to happen would be catastrophic for Rhode Islanders. You're going to have everyone in Rhode Island angry and upset, and that's not good for us. I really am having a hard time myself, and Rhode Island Energy claims to offer these discounts, but in reality, they're not giving them. And as far as the therm calculation goes, I'm looking at my bills. I use less therms, I'm charged more in other fees. I use more therms, I'm charged less in energy fees, but I'm charged more in peak distribution fees and distribution adjustment charges. With all the profit Rhode Island Energy has made already, I mean, I only have the 2023 numbers everyone else is calling out. I really don't feel like another rate increase is going to benefit anyone else but Rhode Island Energy and whoever else's pockets are being lined. I'll wrap it up, but as far as the fees go, that we're all being charged in these distribution fees, there should at least be a cap. It's robbery at this point. So I thank you for your time. That's really what I wanted to bring to your attention is the lies that were being told by Rhode Island Energy, because I'm not receiving any type of discount because I don't collect food stamps. I'm not going to take away from other people who need it more. But I could use that 25% discount on a $469 bill when I don't even barely use any therms. So I don't know. But that's all I have to say, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Good evening, Drake Patton, Patten is my last name, first name Drake, Drake.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time tonight. I'm zooming in from Cranston. I really appreciate what all my neighbors have said tonight. Like so many people, I don't want to bore you with my personal story, but a year ago, my energy bill, my electric specifically, was $300. And 1 year later, my bill is close to $600. Same two people living in a house, same house. But I'll tell you what has also gone up during this time. My insurance, my revaluation on my property, my taxes, my oil bill, and on and on and on. And you know what hasn't gone up? My income. And I'm not alone in this. Now, there were many people that spoke tonight on fixed incomes, and they talked about that. And I think typically that conversation tends to be, we think about older people, we think about retired people. But most of us are on fixed incomes. Our jobs don't change radically from year to year. I happen to be a full-time farmer, and I can tell you that that lifestyle doesn't change radically from year to year. And I was really embarrassed to hear Mr. Schuster, who I guess has left tonight, say at one point that, oh, the profit on the bill is 2%. Well, that's disingenuous, and he should be embarrassed to say that to any of us. And frankly, you who are sort of representing us, you who are our voice, should also be embarrassed to hear that anybody is worth 12 million or gets an increase of 3 million. No one is that smart, frankly, or that good. And this has gone on for years. Rhode Island Energy comes in front of you, you agree to their changes. Mr. Schuster also said, oh, relief is coming. We're going to have a cut in the summer. In the summers when it is only warmer and warmer and warmer, and people use their air conditioners. We don't have those, we won't use those, we use fans, but we use our fans more because it is hotter and hotter. So relief is not coming. And that too is an embarrassing statement. So I beg of you, the people representing us, to refuse these hikes, to look for a better solution, and to help the people of Rhode Island survive. Thank you.
Hi, it's Fernando Ruiz, FERNANDORUIZ.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been listening and pretty much got to repeat what everybody else been saying. I did notice I've kept my temperature basically controlled for the season. Even at some points, my heater is not really working correctly, so without me manually adding water, it actually doesn't turn on. So there's been nights where it's been off, but like I said, like everybody else said, the bill's just going up. And what I've noticed is the delivery. The delivery is a lot more than the actual use. So I don't know what can be done for that, but help us out. I don't know. We're trying to keep it under control. It seems like a lot of people are just trying to keep their temperatures under control, and the bills just keep going up. So it's just hard to keep up with it, you know. I'm gonna just keep it short because I'm repeating what everybody else said, and I agree with everybody else. The delivery charge, it just something needs to change about it. My usage, well, the supply charge was $120, and delivery was $206. And that's with just a gas usage of 13%, but then my monthly cost went up by 24%. It's kind of wild. Yeah, that's what I gotta say about it. Thank you.
Yes, hi, thank you. Wow,
Thank you.
people have cleared out after, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Would you mind spelling your name for the court reporter?
Yes, it's QUATTROCKI-Knight, KNIGHT, and the first name is Lisa or Elizabeth.
Thank you. Please continue.
Well, my heart goes out to all the people that have brought up their individual stories, and I do feel like there is an unrecognized issue that has happened here, and that is that the mandate by Rhode Island to adopt renewable energy, particularly offshore wind, which is the most costly form of electricity according to the Energy Information Administration that the U.S. government puts out, and also costs just more because of the infrastructure, but also the PUC they have done a power purchase agreement that has raised electricity costs and will continue to raise them. The CEO of Ørsted, the company that's developing Revolution Wind and South Fork Wind, admitted in the Wall Street Journal that consumers are just going to have to get used to the fact that renewables cost more money. Offshore wind will cost more money. So I think that I think Rhode Island, the legislator and the executive branch has to acknowledge that this is coming home to roost. We are paying right now for the mandates that the legislature has inflicted on Rhode Island. And it's going to get worse if we continue to support offshore wind. And it will get worse because of the power purchase agreements, and it's going to get worse because we as a nation are giving these foreign energy giants huge tax subsidies. So just the 11 projects that have been approved so far that will not be touched by Trump's executive order will cost the U.S. taxpayer $141 billion in the next 4 or 5 years. So these are tax benefits that the offshore wind developers get to cash in on the very first year they go into commercial operation, $141 billion. And then that doesn't even count the increase in the rates. So right now, the power purchase agreement that the PUC has entered into will cost $98 per megawatt hour, which is about 3 times what we're paying now. So things are just going to get worse if we continue to go down this path. Thank you for allowing me to talk. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nolan Leach. My last name is Leach.
Thank you. Please continue.
Well, 4 hours I've been waiting to have my turn to speak with you all. Thank you all for your patience, as I'm sure you're appreciative of everyone's patience who waited to speak. I won't bore everyone with the full 5 minutes. I don't have a story that is unique to everyone else who spoke. I'm a born and raised Rhode Islander. I'm proud to live here. I met my husband here. We bought our first house here. We want to raise a family here. We both work for businesses based in Rhode Island. We pay taxes here. And we're proud to be Rhode Islanders. But at the same time, it's harder and harder to justify living here. It's like being in an abusive relationship and people from other places are like, why do you stay? And it's becoming harder and harder to justify why we do stay. It's unbelievable that this company, this for-profit company that had the CEO salary jump 31% in 1 year, while the increase in electricity costs for Rhode Islanders jumped 47% in 2022 after the last approved rate increase that you all said was fine. And now we're all stuck holding the bag. It's just unconscionable. It doesn't make any sense why I should have to pay $193 for the delivery of $111 worth of supply. It doesn't make any sense. It's not fair to Rhode Islanders who pay taxes all year. We invest in this state. We want to live here. We want to stay here. But unless something changes and not just the people at the top are getting fat pockets, we're not going to be able to do that. Again, I don't want to take up everyone's time. I don't have a unique story. I'm very much like a lot of the other people who have already spoken over the course of the last 4 hours. But we're fed up. We're tired. We want real answers. We don't want more excuses. We don't want, oh, things are going to get better. We're tired of that. We've been hearing that since 2021, and we don't want to hear it anymore. We need legislation. We need regulation. We need more from you, the commission, the committee that's supposed to be keeping our interests in mind for this public utility that at this point is a basic necessity for everyone. Everyone needs electricity. So I sincerely hope that you'll take everything that you've heard this evening to heart. I know it's probably not easy to be yelled at for 4 hours, but I worked in a call center, so I understand where you're coming from, listening to people complain for 4 hours. It's not an easy job, but that is your job. So I do hope you all take it seriously. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Please give us your full name and spell.
Okay. Yeah, I tried on Zoom, it didn't work. So my name is Jessica William, Jessica William, and I reside in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And actually, unlike many of the folks who have spoke, I'm not originally from here. My husband and I moved from Boston about 4 years ago because we got priced out of Boston. So, you know, my family lived here. My first apartment was in Pawtucket, so I was familiar with the area, and it used to be an affordable place. But in the last 5 years, like everybody else, you know, and just kind of like what we felt there, the prices have gone up and up. And of course, you know, par for the course with inflation, et cetera. But all of, you know, the facts that have been pointed out today clearly denote that what's happening is deplorable and not required or necessary, and that the commission is not doing their job, which is to serve the public and make sure that it's reasonable. So, you know, I'm not going to go into the details except for year over year, 71% raise on our heat bill, on our gas bill, and 41% increase in our electric bill, and obviously nobody's income is keeping up with that. So I implore the commission to do their job, and if not, I implore Rhode Islanders, myself now included, to do something about it, because this has to stop. It can't continue the way it is, because like everyone else pointed out, it will result in tragedies and homelessness and people moving out of Rhode Island because now Rhode Island is unaffordable. So that's my 5 cents. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Please provide your full name and spell it.
My full name is Nancy, it's actually Nancy-Y, that's just a screen name, because it matched my email. Last name is Saunders, Saunders. And I am sitting here patiently watching, and I don't have anything new to add, but this was the second time that you called my name, and I didn't want to be rude and ignore you. Same in the notes, I give you guys a lot of credit for listening to this now going on 4 hours. I share the same plight as everyone, but again, I won't be the dead horse. So I want to make sure that we leave time for other people to speak, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Chairman, I don't see any more activity that would indicate that folks are able to unmute. I'll take any direction you want to give me, but I think that is everyone, at least twice.
Okay, well, it's 10 o'clock, so there is the possibility of providing written comments, which can be sent to the commission clerk by email. Thank you everyone for hanging in here. And for those of you who are participating in the hearing tomorrow for the ISR, we're going to change the start of those hearings to 10:30 tomorrow morning. It was originally scheduled for 9:30. That'll give us a little bit more time. So we'll send a note around to the service list if you have not.
I already did.
Okay, good. Some of you will see you tomorrow. And this meeting is adjourned.